Your broadcast has started. Waiting momentarily for your streaming to start.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Tonight, we play two here from Consol Energy Park, as it's a doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Ziegler, taking you through all the action here in the 2016 season. Wild Things just took 2 of 3 from the Schaumburg Boomers over the weekend, including an 8-1 win on Sunday, including a 6-run third inning that really helped the Wild Things get ahead, and they never looked back in that ball game. We're going to have a recap of that game coming up for you right here on the Wild Things pregame show. Also coming up, your Wild Things have an award winner this week. We'll talk about him and the award he won. He'll also join us later in this pregame show. Also coming up, we'll have the lineups and the pitching matchup for this game one of a doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Now, all these games becoming much more important as the season winds down. Your Wild Things coming to tonight a half a game out of the second wild card spot here in the Frontier League. So it's a battle against the Traverse City Beach Bums, and the big series coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a 4-game series here at Consol Energy Park against the first place Joliet Slammers. So the Wild Things will look to do well here in this series to set them up for a good matchup with Joliet. Now, Sunday, as we said, the Wild Things won by a score of 8-1 over the Traverse City Beach Bums. The matchup, Matt Frodden for the Wild Things taking on Scott Schultz for the Schaumburg Boomers. And both pitchers had pretty good first 2 innings. Matt Frodden faced 4 in the first and got a 1-2-3 in the second. Scott Schultz duplicating that effort, 4 in the first, 1-2-3 in the second. But then that bottom of the third inning hit, and the Wild Things offense just took off in this ball game. It all started with a pop-up by Grant Fink. That was the first out of the inning. Then Austin Wobrock would single before Andrew Heck walked, and then Chris Grayson came through with an RBI double. Wobrock came around to score, and the Wild Things took a 1-0 lead in the ball game. Next batter, Ricky Rodriguez. He came through with a bloop single to right field. Both Andrew Heck and Chris Grayson came around to score, and the Wild Things took a 3-0 lead. Then Dave Popkins would single to put runners at first and second, with still just one man out in the inning, and Jimmy Yezzo came through with a big blow, a 3-run home run that hit off the big scoreboard here in right field at Consol Energy Park. It put the Wild Things up 6-0 in the bottom of the third, with still just one man out. Then Kyle Pollock would fly out, and Alvaro Gonzalez would pop out to end the inning. The Wild Things sent 9 men to the plate in that inning, got 6 runs on 5 hits against Scott Schultz. That gave him the lead, and that made Matt Frodden's day a lot easier. At a 1-2-3 inning right after that, he gave up his first run in the top of the 5th. Mark Nelson would single to lead things off. Then Mike McClellan came through with an RBI double. That scored Nelson and made the score 6-1. McClellan also drove in the only run offensively for Schaumburg the night before on Saturday night. So driving in the first run for Schaumburg here on Sunday's game. Then Michael Hill flew out before James Keller singled, and Nick Oberg hit into a 6-4-3 double play that would end the inning. And after 5, the score was your Wild Things 6 and the Schaumburg Boomers 1. Wild Things would add on again in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jimmy Yezzo would ground out to lead things off. Kyle Pollock would then ground out. Now Alvaro Gonzalez would hit his first Wild Things home run, a solo shot over the left field wall. That extended the Wild Things lead to 7-1 on the day. Then Grant Fink would fly out to end that inning. Wild Things again getting on the board in the bottom half of the 8th. Ricky Rodriguez would reach on an error to start things. Then a strikeout for Dave Popkins and a flyout by Jimmy Yezzo were the first 2 outs in the inning before Kyle Pollock came through with an RBI single. It was Pollock's 13th RBI of the year. That scored Ricky Rodriguez and extended the Wild Things lead to 8-1. Alvaro Gonzalez would ground out to end the inning. Matt Frodden, very good in this ball game for your Wild Things. Went 7 innings, gave up just 1 run. It was earned on 5 hits, walked 3, and struck out 4 through exactly 100 pitches on the day. Brian O'Keefe, a scoreless inning of relief, a perfect inning for him. And then Andrew Wick came in the top of the 9th to try to close things out. Not a save situation, but he got Mike McClellan. He hit him with the second pitch of the inning. Then Michael Hill would strike out. Jake Cockrum, making his Schaumburg debut, would fly out for the second out of the inning, and Nick Oberg would fly out to end the game. Andrew Wick going a perfect inning, or excuse me, not a perfect inning. He hit the one guy and did strike out a batter in the game. Scott Schultz for the Schaumburg Boomers struggled in this one, went 6, gave up 7 runs, all those runs earned on 7 hits, walked 2 and struck out 4. Took him 95 pitches to get through 6 innings. Other pitchers used by Schaumburg. Patrick Dolan went a perfect inning, striking out 1, and Kurt Lipscomb gave up a run in his 1 inning of work. He pitched in the bottom of the 8th. He did give up 1 hit, that RBI single to Kyle Pollock. With the win, the Wild Things got their record back to 500. They currently sit at 41-41, just a half a game out of that second wild card spot here in the Frontier League. The playoff race coming down the last 2 weeks of the season, as we knew it would. No team is yet eliminated from this race, so every team still has a very good chance. The only team who's locked their spot into the playoffs is the Southern Illinois Miners. They sit at 56-28. The Joliet Slammers hold that number 2 spot as the first seed in the Frontier League East. First wild card spot held by the Evansville Otters at 47-36. Then we have a tie for the second wild card spot as the River City Rascals and Normal Corn Belters are tied. The Rascals with a record of 43-42, so they hold the advantage in the in-season matchup. Then the Normal Corn Belters 42-41. Your Washington Wild Things at 41-41, just a half game back of that second wild card spot. Gateway Grizzlies sit below them at 42-43. They are 1 game back, and the Lake Erie Crushers are 39-45. They are 3.5 games back. These Traverse City Beach Bums currently sit at 36-46. They have the second worst record in the league, but still, they're only 5.5 games out. So if they can go on a run, they can get back in this race. It's really anyone's race here in this Frontier League wild card chase. So we'll see how these last two weeks play out for the Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of this doubleheader today, and you're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show. We're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to tell you about our award winner this week for the Washington Wild Things. Keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball on your home for Wild Things Baseball, the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things Baseball. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show, getting you ready for Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Now, your Wild Thing Award winner this week is Chris Grayson. He was named the Week 15 Hitter of the Week here in the Frontier League, the third Washington Wild Things player this season to be honored with the Player of the Week award. Trevor Foss and Logan Aksa, each of which are no longer with the team, were awarded earlier in the season. In this 15th week of the season, he went 11 for 24 on the week total. Went 2 for 5 in Tuesday's game against the Traverse City Beach Bums with a double and 2 RBIs. Went 3 for 7 in the rest of the series. But his big series coming last weekend against the Schaumburg Boomers, went 6 for 12 against Schaumburg, including 2 doubles, a triple, a home run, and 2 RBIs. Really teared it up against these Schaumburg Boomers. He's in his 6th year of professional baseball, first with the Washington Wild Things. So Chris Grayson named the Week 15 Hitter of the Week here in the Frontier League. And now we're going to take another break, and when we come back, Chris Grayson's going to join us here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to the Washington Wild Things pregame show, getting you ready for Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Currently joined by Wild Things outfielder Chris Grayson. And Chris, you were just awarded the Week 15 Player of the Week here in the Frontier League. What does that mean to you to get that award this late in the season?
It means a lot to me, especially considering where we're at as a team and what we're striving to get to. The things that happen in the beginning of the season are just to prepare you for later in the season when it really matters. And, it just shows that, I'm starting to play the ball I really want to play when my team really needs me. And that's what I take most from it is that, I'm being that player that my team needs me to be right now. And we're in a good position.
And you're the third player named the Frontier League Player of the Week this year for the Wild Things. Trevor Foss and Logan Uxa were the other two. What does that mean for an organization like you guys are? You're in a big playoff race now to have three guys named that award this season.
It just goes to show that, for one, it's good scouting by the coaches and the staff, but it shows that, any given day, any week, we can depend on one guy, to carry the squad, whether it's a hitter or a pitcher. Sometimes you got to pass the torch. And as long as we got guys that we know we can count on at any given time, that gives us confidence as a team to where maybe if I'm not hitting so well and another guy is, we realize that and maybe, hey, just get on base for the guy who's hitting or, just play good defense and get the run support for the pitcher who's carrying the staff. It's just signs of a good team.
And you're coming off a very good series for yourself against the Schaumburg Boomers. Went 6 for 12, including a home run, a couple of doubles, and a triple in that series. Was there anything special working for you in that series, or anything special you saw that helped you do that?
No, just sticking to my game plan and not straying away from. Me as a hitter, I've been in pro ball long enough, and I know who I am as a hitter. And I notice when I'm not doing so well, I'm away from the approach that makes me good as a hitter. And when I stick to myself and not try to do too much, that's when the game comes easy to me, and I just have to stay within myself and do what I know I do well, and everything else will handle itself.
Currently joined by outfielder Chris Grayson. And Chris, today we start a 3-game series with the Traverse City Beach Bums, a doubleheader today. Does it help having seen them just a week ago coming into this series here at CONSOL Energy Park?
It can help you and it can hurt you because at the same time, these guys just saw us, and whether they had success against us or not, they know who's swinging the hot batter, which pitcher is pitching well, and they find ways to either minimize that guy or find a way to hit the pitcher that's pitching well. But I feel as long as I stick to my approach and don't go away from it, I'll have the success I had against them last time.
And here in Game 1, you guys are facing off against Augie Gallardo. He made his first professional start against you guys last time. Did you pick up anything from him in that start that you're going to take here tonight?
We don't go from start to start because, guys can switch up their approach. So we really have to, it's got to be one of those play it by ear things, just see what he's trying to do to us, stick to our approach, and if we need to change that approach, we will. But at the end of the day, we're going to come in and swing the bat like the Wild Things do, and he'll have to adjust to us and not the other way around.
And you have the doubleheader today. Is there any preparation knowing you're playing 2 7-inning games as opposed to the 1 9-inning game, or is the pregame prep the same for you?
It's the same. It's just 2 ball games instead of 1, and, hey, that's what us baseball players like. We like to play games, so 2 is always better than 1 in my eyes.
And can you talk about these 2 big series coming up? You guys are half game out of that second wild card spot. Got Traverse City today, and then that big weekend series with Joliet. Can you talk about those 2 series coming up here at CONSOL?
I'm not going to lie and say we're not focused on those because they are big series. But at the end of the day, we're not focused on Joliet or Traverse. We're focusing on the Wild Things, and if we play Wild Things baseball, we'll be where we want to be after those 2 series.
And finally, Chris, any keys to the game today for Game 1 of this doubleheader?
Get the win.
Thanks, Chris. Good luck today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, getting ready for Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. You're listening to Wild Things baseball on the MSA Sports Network. Players and coaches taking the field right now as we get ready for the national anthem. Tonight's pitching matchup, Luke Wilkins facing off against Augie Gallardo. Both these pitchers have seen these teams recently as we played the Traverse City Beach Bums a week ago. So it'll be an exciting matchup, getting ready for Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Going to take one more break here on the Washington Wild Things pregame show. When we come back, it's time for baseball here in Game 1 of this doubleheader on the MSA Sports Network. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, ready for baseball here in Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wild Things are on the field right now. Defensively, they'll align like this. In the outfield, left to right, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Dave Popkins. Left side of the infield held down by Ricky Rodriguez and Austin Wobrock. Right side by Grant Fink and Jimmy Yezzo. Behind the plate, Steve Solkoski. Catching ninth pitcher, Luke Wilkins. Wilkins enters this one with a record of 3-6, a 4.36 ERA, appearing in his 16th game, making his 15th start. Has thrown 86 2/3 innings, giving up 45 runs, 42 of those earned, on 80 hits, striking out 58 and walking 39 on the season. The lineup he'll face for the visiting Traverse City Beach Bums looks like this. They'll lead off with their center fielder, Marcus Dirks. Batting second in left field, Casey Rodriguez. Hitting third at third base, Jose Vargas. Batting fourth at shortstop, Will Kenger. In the 5 spot at second base, Steve Patterson. Batting 6th, designated hitter Elijah Trail. Hitting 7th at first base, Christian Santisteban. Batting 8th and catching, Gabby Warby. And batting 9th and playing in right field is Jeff Debu. On the mound for Traverse City, Augie Gallardo making his second professional start. Gallardo so far in the year 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Ready for baseball here on the top of the first is stepping to the plate to lead things off is the center fielder Marcus Dirks. Dirks hitting .259, 1 home run, and 19 RBIs. A good crowd here on a Tuesday night under sunny skies. Here's the first pitch, and this one grounded foul off to the left towards the Beach Bums dugout, so the count right away at 0-1 First pitch tonight thrown at 6:08 p.m. Eastern Time, and the temperature outside 81 degrees. First pitch time and temperature brought to you by State Line Grocery and Hotspot. Here's the 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball, so count goes even here on Marcus Dirks. 1 ball and 1 strike. Luke Wilkins coming off a win his last time out against these Traverse City Beach Bums last Thursday night. Here's the 1-1. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Your umpires for tonight's game behind home plate, Brian Miller. And on the bases is Ron Whitting Sr. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-2 offering. And that one's high and outside. Skips off the glove of Solkoski back to the backstop. And the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, nobody out right here, right in the top of the first. Just got started here at Consol Energy Park. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-2. And that one's just off the outside part of the plate, filling up the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes for Luke Wilkins, a guy who has to work ahead. When he falls behind, he starts losing confidence in his pitches, and it causes him to be wild, and that creates problems for him. The 3-2, and that one's fouled off back into the seats, so the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, nobody out here in the top of the first. Casey Rodriguez, the on-deck man, for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wild Things entering today with a record of 41-41. Traverse City at 36-46. This one grounded towards the middle, past a diving Grant Fink in the center field for a base hit. So the leadoff man will reach base here against the Wild Things in the top of the first, and that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far in the year hitting .211, 1 home run, and 11 RBIs. Coaching on the base paths for the Traverse City Beach Bums. At third base is their manager, Dan Roan, and at first base is Jake Rhodes. Runner at first, nobody out here in the top of the first. Marcus Dirks getting the leadoff single. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set, here's the pitch. And Rodriguez takes that one on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Casey Rodriguez only making one start the last time these two teams faced in Traverse City, as Ryan Bacher got the start in the first 2 games of that series. Wilkins has his sign, he's set, checks Dirks at first, and the 0-1. And Rodriguez fouls this one off to the left, down the line in left field, and it hits into the party pavilion area. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Luke Wilkins, 58 strikeouts and 39 walks. Those 58 strikeouts are good for second on the team in 86 2/3 innings. Not a guy who's going to strike out a whole lot of batters, but will get his strikeouts from time to time. Dirks takes his lead from first, and the 0-2 offering to Rodriguez. Throw over there, and Dirks gets back in. For Marcus Dirks on the seasons, currently has 14 steals in 49 games. That's good for first on the club for these Traverse City Beach Bums. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-2, and that one's high for a ball. Couldn't get Rodriguez to chase that high fastball. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now, Wilkins' last start against these Traverse City Beach Bums last Thursday night, we saw him really trying to change the eye level of the hitter. He'd work low in the zone and got a lot of swing and misses on those high fastballs, so we'll see if that strategy works again for him here today. Dirks takes his lead from first. Wilkins set, holds at the letters, and the 1-2 offering. This ball lined towards right center field, and that one's going to get down and go towards the wall. Dirks around second, heading to third. Popkins will cut the ball off. His throw in is going to hold Dirks at third, and Casey Rodriguez gets into second with a double. So right away, Traverse City threatening against your Washington Wild Things. They have runners at second and third and nobody out, and that brings to the plate the third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas on the year hitting .301, 13 homers and 46 RBIs. Those 13 home runs are good for the team lead for these Traverse City Beach Bums. And right now, Luke Wilkins in trouble right off the bat. Runners are at second and third with nobody out here in the top of the first. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks Marcus Dirks at third. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss there on a pitch on the outside corner. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count here on Jose Vargas. Vargas in the last series was a designated hitter for 2 games and played third base, and he's really been making that transition all year long. He suffered an injury right before the All-Star break, and that's caused him to do some more time as a DH. The 0-1, that one swung on and missed, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Vargas was elected to the 2016 All-Star game this year for the Frontier League, representing the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set. Holds of the letters, checks Dirks at third, and the 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Wilkins strikes out Jose Vargas, and that's a big out number 1 for Luke Wilkins and the Washington Wild Things. That'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far in the year hitting .299, 7 home runs, and 44 RBIs. 1 man out now here in the top of the first. No score between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Game 1 of this 3-game series here at Consol Energy Park. This will be the last meeting between these two teams here in the regular season. Here's the pitch, and Kenger takes this one just inside for a ball, and the count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Kenger thought about swinging at that one, but held up at the last minute. Marcus Dirks started this inning off with a single. He's over at third base after Casey Rodriguez, who's at second, doubled following that Dirks single. Here's the 1-0, and a swing and a miss there at a high fastball by Will Kenger. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenger's been that cleanup man for the Traverse City Beach Bums all season long. Not typical to see a shortstop in that cleanup role, but the 7 home runs from Will Kenger, currently good for 4th on the team, puts him in that cleanup spot. Wilkins has his sign, the 1-1, and this ball lined down the right field line. It's hooking, and it'll go behind the Wild Things bullpen, foul. Count going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Luke Wilkins got the big first out, striking out Jose Vargas, looking to come back, and if he can get Kenger here, that helps him out even more here in this top of the first. Runners are at second and third with 1 man out. Wilkins is set. Jimmy Yezzo playing on the grass at first. Here's the 1-2. And that one's just off the outside part of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ricky Rodriguez in the middle infield playing at their normal positions. The outfield about middle depth out there here at Consol Energy Park. A sunny day, a couple of clouds overhead, but a beautiful day for baseball. Here's the 2-2, and this ball popped up. Shallow right field. Going out is Grant Fink. He'll be called off by Dave Popkins. Popkins make the catch. Dirks tags, and the strong throw by Popkins is going to hold Dirks right where he is at third base. Very good throw there by Popkins, and that just saved a run from the Traverse City Beach Bums. It holds Dirks at third. Runners are still at second and third with 2 men out, and that brings to the plate the second baseman, Steven Patterson. Patterson so far in the year hitting .302, 12 home runs, and 53 RBIs. Those 53 RBIs, good for the team lead here on the Beach Bums. 2 men out, top of the first. No score between the Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Runners are at second and third, 2 men out. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks Dirks at third. Here's the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Traverse City Beach Bums second baseman. His 12 home runs are good for second on the team. He's behind Jose Vargas, who struck out earlier in this inning. Wilkins has his sign. He's going to hold the letters. Checks Dirks at third. Here's the 1-0. This one grounded to the right side and foul past first baseman Jimmy Yezzo, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. This is actually Luke Wilkins' first time working with Steve Solkoski. In all of his starts this year, he's worked with Kyle Pollock. Pollock getting the off day here in Game 1. We could see him return to the lineup in Game 2. Wild Things activated a third catcher on the roster as well, as John Fidanza came off the disabled list. Wilkins has his sign, the 1-1, and that one's outside for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count here on Steven Patterson, the second baseman for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wilkins got into trouble to lead this inning off as they had second and third with nobody out, but he's gotten the last 2 outs trying to finish this inning, getting the final out right here. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks Dirks at third, and the 2-1. And that one's just off the outside corner. Count now going to 3 balls and a strike. Those last 3 pitches, Wilkins been trying to paint that outside corner, but just isn't getting the call from Brian Miller behind the plate as they're just missing inches off the corner. Wilkins has his sign. He's set in the 3-1. And a swing and a miss and a pitch low and in, and the count goes to 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, 2 men out here in the top of the first. No score. The on-deck man for Traverse City is the designated hitter, Elijah Trail. 2 men out. Wild Things in their red alternate jerseys with the black stripe on the arm and the white lettering, also their white home pants. Traverse City in their blue alternate jerseys, yellow sleeves, and gray road pants. Wilkins has his sign. He's set in the 3-2. Swing and a pop up to the right side. Grant Fink and Jimmy Yezzo giving chase. Fink will call off Yezzo in foul territory, and Fink will make the catch. That's good for out number 3. So no runs in the inning for the Beach Bums on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 on. After half an inning of play, the score, Traverse City nothing. Your Washington Wild Things coming to bat. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the first, and the score, Traverse City nothing, and your Washington Wild Things coming to bat. The Beach Bums align like this defensively in the outfield left to right. Casey Rodriguez, Marcus Dirks, and Jeff Debut. Left side of the infield held down by Jose Vargas and Will Kenger. Right side by Steven Patterson and Christian Santisteban. Behind the plate is Gabby Warby, catching tonight's starter Augie Gallardo. Gallardo so far 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA, appearing in his second game, making his second start. He's thrown 6 innings of work, giving up 1 run. It was earned on 3 hits, has walked 2 and struck out 7 in his short Traverse City Beach Bums career. The lineup he'll face for your Washington Wild Things looks like this. They'll lead off with their left fielder Andrew Heck, batting second in center field. Chris Grayson hitting third at third base. Ricky Rodriguez in the cleanup spot out in right field. Dave Popkins Batting fifth at first base is Jimmy Yezzo. Hitting sixth, designated hitter Alvaro Gonzalez. Batting seventh at second base, Grant Fink. Hitting eighth and catching Steve Solkoski. And batting ninth and playing at shortstop is Austin Walbrock. On the mound, as we saw, Luke Wilkins. Wilkins enters this one with a record of 3-6 and a 4.15 ERA. Andrew Heck making his way to the plate right now to lead things off in the bottom of the first. Heck so far in the year hitting .269, no home runs, and 15 RBIs. Gallardo set. Here's the pitch. And Heck hits this one to left field. Casey Rodriguez a couple of steps back in front of the track, and will make the catch, and that's in time for out number one. So it's one pitch, one away for Augie Gallardo here in this one. One out, bottom of the first, and that brings to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far hitting .299, 3 home runs, and 16 RBIs. Your Week 15 hitter of the week here in the Frontier League. Went 6 for 12 against the Schaumburg Boomers, looking to continue his success here against the Traverse City Beach Bums. One man out, bottom of the first. Gallardo looks in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Grayson takes this one in the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. Augie Gallardo made his first professional start last Wednesday night against these Washington Wild Things. Picked up the win, going 6 innings, giving up just that 1 run. The 0-1, and this one's popped up. Shallow left center. Out goes the shortstop, Will Kenger, and he'll make the catch. That's in time for out number 2. So quickly, 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the first. And that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far hitting .289, 6 home runs, and 29 RBIs on the season. That .289 average is good for second on this Washington Wild Things team. 2 men out here in the bottom of the first. Augie Gallardo looking in. Has his sign, the pitch. And Rodriguez takes this one low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Ricky Rodriguez, the third baseman for the Washington Wild Things, the 1-0. And Rodriguez hits this one pretty deep to left. Rodriguez going back to the track, to the wall. Exit stage left for Ricky Rodriguez. A solo home run. And your Washington Wild Things take the lead here in the bottom of the first. It is 1-0. Rodriguez's 7th home run of the season. And when you need an attorney to hit one out of the park for you, yo, Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. Wild Things lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the first on Rodriguez's 7th home run of the year. Casey Rodriguez out and left, gave it a look, but watched it sail out of here as you knew it right off the bat. That'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far in the year is hitting .286, 13 home runs, and 43 RBIs. Here's the pitch, and that one's taken just off the outside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Augie Gallardo just gave up 1 run in his last start against the Wild Things. Already down 1 here in the bottom of the first. Gallardo looking in, has his sign, he's set. Here's the 1-0. And Popkins takes this one inside for a ball. That makes the count 2 balls and no strikes. Augie Gallardo pitched for Eastern Michigan earlier in this season in his senior year, the 2-0, and that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. With Eastern Michigan in his senior season, went 4-4 with a 4.18 ERA in 15 games. The 3-0, and that was a called strike just at the knees of Dave Popkins. Popkins was about to throw his bat, but instead steps back in with a 3-1 count. Augie Gallardo's 3-1 offering, and that one's outside, ball 4, so it's a 2-out walk. First walk of the day for Augie Gallardo. Wild Things have a runner at first, and that brings to the plate the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo so far in the year hitting .221, 12 home runs, and 36 RBIs. Both of those home runs and RBIs are good for second on the team behind Dave Popkins, who stands at first base. 2 men out, bottom of the first, 1-0 Wild Things lead here over the Traverse City Beach Bums. Gallardo has his sign, the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Yezzo had the big blow in Sunday afternoon's game, a 3-run home run that put the Wild Things up 6-0 in that one. The 1-0, and that one's in there at the knees for a strike. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Jimmy Yezzo has 2 home runs in his last 4 games, so finding the power stroke as of late at the plate. Gallardo's 1-1. That one's outside for a ball. The count now going to 2 balls and a strike. Augie Gallardo trying to rebound. 1 run in this inning for the Wild Things is with 2 outs. Ricky Rodriguez hit his 7th home run of the year over the left field wall. The 2-1, and this ball popped up to the left side and foul. Vargas looks at it, but that one will go into the seats, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. 2 men out here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 Wild Things lead over the Traverse City Beach Bums. Dave Popkins over at first base. Popkins walked with 2 men out following the solo home run. Gallardo looking into Warby, has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2. That one's outside for a ball, and the count fills up now on Jimmy Yezzo. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The on-deck man, Alvaro Gonzalez, awaits. Popkins takes his lead from first. Augie Gallardo looks in. Holds at the letters. He's set the 3-2. Popkins takes off for second. This one popped up to the left side, but that'll get back into the seats as well. And the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Jimmy Yezzo out there at first base for the Wild Things. Still wearing that Evo shield on his right foot as he injured his ankle two weeks ago against the Lake Erie Crushers sliding into first base. Here's the 3-2. Popkins takes off, and this one's outside, ball 4. So back-to-back 2-out walks here for Augie Gallardo has put him in trouble, as now there's runners at first and second and 2 men out, and the designated hitter Alvaro Gonzalez coming to the plate. Gonzalez so far in the year hitting 200, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. Gabby Warby going out there to calm down his young right-hander. Augie Gallardo only in his second professional start. That first professional start last week he was very good in. Struck out 7 in those 6 innings of work. In total in his college career was 15-17 with a 5.08 ERA, striking out 197 in 273 innings of work. That first pitch, and that one's called strike at the knees. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Alvaro Gonzalez also in his first professional season with the Washington Wild Things. Played for the University of New Mexico Highlands in his senior season in 2016. Gallardo has his sign, checks Popkins at second, the 0-1. That one's outside for a ball. Count evens up here on Gonzalez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alvaro hit his first professional home run in Sunday's game, a solo shot that helped pad the Wild Things' lead, made it 7-1 at that point. Gallardo has his sign, the 1-1. That one's low and inside for a ball, and the count now going to 2 balls and a strike here on Alvaro Gonzalez. For Gallardo, he got the first 2 outs really quickly in this inning. 3 pitches to get through the first 2 Wild Things batters, but ever since that solo home run, these Wild Things have been getting on base against him. The 2-1, and Gonzalez pops this one up. Foul territory to the right. Gabby Warby giving chase towards the Wild Things dugout, and he'll make the catch in front of that dugout for out number 3. However, the Wild Things do get a run in the inning on the solo home run by Ricky Rodriguez. That was the only hit. No errors, and 2 men left on after the 2 walks. After 1 inning of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 1 and the Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the second, and the score. Your Washington Wild Things 1, Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. Last inning for the Beach Bums, they got off to a hot start against Luke Wilkins, but could not score in the inning as Marcus Dirks singled to lead things off. Then Casey Rodriguez would double, putting runners at second and third with nobody out before Jose Vargas struck out, Will Kenger flew out, and Steven Patterson popped out to end the inning. Due up here in the second, Elijah Trail, Christian Santisteban, and Gabby Warby, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, facing off against Luke Wilkins. Wilkins not a bad first inning after allowing those first 2 hits. Got the big strikeout of Vargas and the 2 key pop-outs. The key play in that inning, however, was Dave Popkins' throw in from right. Will Kenger flew out to right field. Dave Popkins a strong throw, and that kept Marcus Dirks right where he was at third base. Leading things off here on the top of the second for the Beach Bums is their designated hitter Elijah Trail. Trail so far in the year hitting .234, 3 home runs, and 20 RBIs. The pitch, and that one swung on and missed. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Traverse City designated hitter. Elijah Trail did not start the year for the Beach Bums. He started the year for the Normal Corn Belters, playing in his 37th game for the Beach Bums. Next pitch, and that one swung on and missed as Trail goes low and outside, out of the zone, chasing that one, and the count to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Luke Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And a check swing. Did he go around? No, says Ron Whitting Sr. on the bases, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out, top of the second. 1-0 Wild Things lead. Luke Wilkins on the mound did not give up a run in 7 innings of work last Thursday against these Beach Bums. The 1-2, and that one's just inside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. As Luke Wilkins looking into Steve Solkoski has his sign. Here's the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Wilkins strikes out Elijah Trail, and that's quickly 1 up, 1 down here in the top of the second. Second strikeout of the day for Luke Wilkins. That brings to the plate the first baseman, Christian Santisteban. Santisteban so far on the year is hitting .260, 1 home run, and 15 RBIs. Giancarlo Bergoni played a lot of first base in the last series between these two teams. Santisteban only seeing action in that last game of that 3-game series, but he's in there tonight. The left-handed hitting first baseman against Luke Wilkins, the right-handed pitcher. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Santisteban takes this one on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 on the Traverse City Beach Bums first baseman. First year here in the Frontier League. Here's the 0-1. And another swing and a miss, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Wilkins pounding the strike zone here early on in this inning, getting a lot of swings and misses. This is the Wilkins you like to see on the mound. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And a check swing, and he did not go around, says Brian Miller behind the plate. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Was talking to the Wild Things starting catcher Kyle Pollock earlier in the year, and he said the key with Wilkins is for him to have confidence. He can get anybody out with his stuff when he's confident, but it's when he's unconfident that he starts to fall behind and inning snowball on him. The 1-2, and that one's high and outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out. Luke Wilkins, a Sydney, Australia native, actually pitched for his home Sydney Blue Stocks for 6 seasons in the Australian Baseball League. Here's the 2-2, and this ball grounded softly to the right side and foul past the first base coaching box. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 1 man out here in the top of the second. Traverse City out hitting the Wild Things, but the Wild Things leading in the scoreboard to this point. Wilkins has his sign, the 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Wilkins strikes out Santisteban. So he struck out the first 2 men here in this top of the second inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Gabby Warby. Warby so far in the year hitting .204, no home runs, and 7 RBIs. 2 men out here in the top of the second. 1-0 your Washington Wild Things lead over the Traverse City Beach Bums. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Remember, we only play 7 innings here in doubleheader games, so not the typical 9-inning format. Playing 7 here today. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Warby takes this one low and outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Now, originally, this doubleheader was scheduled for tomorrow night. Wild Things were supposed to have an off night, but due to the Chris Young concert on Thursday, they had to move things up. The 1-0, and that one's grounded up the middle, and that's a base hit. 2-out single for Gabby Warby, and that gives the Traverse City Beach Bums some life here in this second inning. And it'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Jeff Debut. Debut so far in the year hitting .212 with 1 home run and 24 RBIs. 2 men out here in the top of the second. 1-0 Wild Things lead over the Beach Bums. Gabby Warby reaching on that 2-out single. Luke Wilkins struck out the first 2 men he faced here in this inning. Second on the team coming into tonight with 58 strikeouts behind Matt Frodden. Frodden has 83. Wilkins has his sign. He's set in the pitch. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Traverse City right fielder. Debut batted in the number 9 spot in each of the 3 games the last time these two teams met. Wilkins has his sign. Warby takes his lead from first. And the 0-1. This one ground to the right side. Jimmy Yezzo can't handle it as it hops under his glove into right field. Popkins will retrieve it. Warby's going to end up at third. And there are now runners at first and third with 2 men out. We'll see if they give Yezzo an error on that one, and they will. So it's an E3 on Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo was down on a knee trying to field that bouncing ground ball. He was holding the runner, Gabby Warby, on first, and the ball just didn't bounce up as high as he predicted. Went right under his glove and went into right field. So he is charged with an error, and that'll go back to the top of the lineup as Marcus Dirks steps in. He's 1 for 1 so far. Singled in his first at-bat against Luke Wilkins. 2 men out here in the top of the second. 1-0 Wild Things lead, but once again, Traverse City threatening in this one. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And this one taken by Marcus Dirks right on the outside corner for a strike, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Traverse City took on the Lake Erie Crushers in their last game on Sunday afternoon. They lost 3-2. Dirks in that game ended up going 1 for 4 with a run scored. Here's the pitch. That one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 here on the Traverse City center fielder, who was signed in mid-July by the Traverse City Beach Bums 2 times ago when the Wild Things were in Traverse City, Michigan. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, and the 1-1. Taking off for second's debut. Pitch outside. Solkoski's throw, and it's not in time. Warbrock's throw to the plate, and they got him. They tried the delayed steal at third base, but the Wild Things snuff it out. A great reaction play there by Walbrock, and that will end the inning. No runs in the inning for the Beach Bums on just one hit, one error in the inning, and nobody left on base. After 1.5, the score, your Washington Wild Things 1, Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the second, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 1, Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. Wild Things getting their lone run back in the bottom of the first. Andrew Heck flew out to start things on just one pitch. Then Chris Grayson would pop out before Ricky Rodriguez came through with a solo home run over the left field wall. His 7th home run of the year, and your Washington Wild Things took the early 1-0 lead. Next batter, Dave Popkins, would walk. Jimmy Yezzo would walk as well before Alvaro Gonzalez popped out to end the inning. Due up here in the bottom of the second, Grant Fink, Steve Solkoski, and Austin Warbrock, 7, 8, and 9 against Augie Gallardo. Gallardo gives up just that one run in the bottom of the first inning. His first home run given up in his professional career. Did not give him a home run his last time against the Washington Wild Things. Right now, he's going to have to bounce back here in the second inning. His team down by 1 as the Wild Things try to get to him. Your next Washington Wild Things broadcast, Game 2 of this doubleheader, coming up about a half hour after the conclusion of Game 1 here between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. I'll be back on the call. In that one, Matt Snyder takes the hill for your Wild Things. He'll be opposed by Kramer Champlin for the Traverse City Beach Bums. So the Wild Things have seen both Augie Gallardo and Kramer Champlin the last time these two teams met, and it's each of the pitchers' last time out. So we'll see how the second time around goes for each team. Right now, Wild Things have the advantage 1-0, and Grant Fink steps to the plate. Gallardo's pitch, and Fink grounds this one to the left side past the third base coaching box, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Grant Fink so far in the year for the Wild Things is hitting 185, 8 home runs, and 17 RBIs. Here's the 0-1, and Fink pops this one foul as well. That one going back to the seats and right, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Coaching on the base pass for the Washington Wild Things. At third base, their manager Greg Langben, and at first base is Tim Provenzano, the assistant coach. Here's the 0-2, and this one also fouled off by Grant Fink. Back to that right side. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. Fink out there at second base. The Wild Things have released Jamadric Magruder, so right now Grant Fink is their everyday second baseman. Here's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Fink strikes out. That's out number 1 here in the bottom of the second. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things, and that'll bring to the plate the catcher, Steve Solkoski. Solkoski so far in the year hitting 167, no home runs, no RBIs, playing on only his 4th game as a Wild Thing. So far 1 for 6 in his Wild Things career. Got his hit in the last series with these Traverse City Beach Bums. Caught Game 2 of that 3-game series last Wednesday night. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Solkoski down the left field line, but that'll go foul into the Beach Bums bullpen. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. Solkoski got a good piece of that ball, but unfortunately for him, it was lined into foul territory. Steve Solkoski has been around the independent leagues, played for the American Association, the Canadian American League, and now here in the Frontier League. Here's the 0-1, and that one's on the outside corner for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Talked to him earlier in the season about the differences between each league, and he basically told me it's all the same baseball. It's all good baseball, and guys just want to compete. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the 0-2. And Solkoski fouling this one back to the screen. Hits off the right side of the screen by the Wild Things dugout. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. That home plate screen here at Consol Energy Park, stretching from dugout to dugout, as it starts the Wild Things home dugout on the first baseline and then goes to the Traverse City dugout over on the third baseline. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Here's Gallardo's pitch. And that one's a called strike 3. Solkoski strikes out, and that's out number 2. The second strikeout of the day for Augie Gallardo, and that'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wolbrock so far in the year hitting .214, 1 home run, and 14 RBIs. 1-0 the Wild Things lead here in the bottom of the second. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. 2 strikeouts on the day for Gallardo. Last time out against the Wild Things, he would strike out 7 in 6 innings of work. The pitch, that one's on the outside corner for a strike here on Wolbrock. No balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Wolbrock's been in that number 9 spot for a majority of the season for the Wild Things. Gallardo's 0-1. And that one's a called strike as well. No balls and 2 strikes. Was talking to him earlier in the year. Says he's a lot more comfortable down there. A lot more opportunities to drive in runs. And he loves having those opportunities. Here's the no ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In the beginning of the season, we saw Wolbrock batting up in the number 2 hole for the Wild Things. But after some offensive struggles, he was moved down. The 1-2. And this ball hit towards right center field and pretty deep. This ball bounced off the track and headed to the wall. Wolbrock around first, heading to second. Marcus Dirks gets it off the wall. His throw-in's going to hold Wolbrock there. And it's a 2-out double for Austin Wolbrock, putting a Wild Thing in scoring position. And that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far in the day is 0 for 1 in this one. Flew out in his first at-bat. And in Sunday's game against the Schaumburg Boomers, Heck ended up going 0 for 3. He walked, grounded out twice, and flew out in the ball game. 2 men out here in the bottom of the second. 1-0 Wild Things lead as they look for insurance runs here in the bottom of the second. They have that runner at second with 2 men out. Augie Gallardo working from the stretch once again. Gallardo looks in, has his sign, checks second, and the pitch. And Andrew Heck takes this one for a ball inside, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Both Wild Things and Traverse City getting through their lineup 1 time in the second inning. Gallardo has his sign. He's set the 1-0. This ball grounded to the left side, and that's a base hit. Greg Langman's going to wave Wolbrock to the plate. Here's Casey Rodriguez' throw, and it is in plenty of time to get Wolbrock, and that is out number 3. A strong throw by Casey Rodriguez out in left field, and that ends the inning. So no runs in the inning for the Wild Things on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 2 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 1, Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the third, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 1 and the Traverse City Beach Bums nothing. Last inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums, Elijah Trail and Christian Santisteban would strike out to lead things off in the inning. Gabby Warby would then single. Jeff Debut would reach on an error. Then the Traverse City Beach Bums tried to pull a fast one on the Wild Things. Debut took off for second. He got in with a stolen base, and as soon as Steve Solkowski threw the ball, Gabby Warby broke for the plate. Austin Wolbrock, thinking quick on his feet, got out in front of the second base pad, caught Solkowski's throw, and threw it right back to him in time to nab Warby for the final out in the inning. Due up here in the third is Marcus Dirks, Casey Rodriguez, and Jose Vargas. 1, 2, and 3 for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Marcus Dirks stepping in, 1 for 1 so far on the day. Was at bat in the top of the second before Gabby Warby got thrown out of the plate. Dirks again on Sunday went 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Dirks takes this one low in the dirt, bounces up to the plate. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Traverse City center fielder. Played center field in all 3 games for Traverse City in the last series a week ago. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And this one swung on and fouled off at the plate this time. That evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Marcus Dirks, the leadoff man for Traverse City. Dirks standing in at 6 foot, 170 pounds from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Dirks fouls this one off to the left, back into the seats. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ricky Rodriguez playing about even with the third base bag. For those first 3 pitches of the at-bat, was playing up on the grass, but now with 2 strikes, has retreated back to about his normal third base position. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's low and inside. Solkoski trying to block that one in the dirt. However, it trickles away from him to the left side, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kyle Pollock, very good defensively behind the plate for the Washington Wild Things. Steve Solkoski has been good as well in his minimal playing time behind home plate, the backup for Kyle Pollock. Wilkins set. Here's the 2-2. And this ball grounded to the right side. That'll go foul past the first base bag, and the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marcus Dirks fouling off a tough pitch there, staying alive against Luke Wilkins. Wilkins' last time out, as we talked about, was last Thursday night against these Traverse City Beach Bums. Here's the 2-2, and this one low and in the dirt, and actually a swing and a miss by Marcus Dirks. Steve Solkoski going to get to it, but he's not going to get to the ball in time to throw him out at first. So it is a strikeout for Luke Wilkins. However, Marcus Dirks is going to reach base as there's a strikeout and a pass ball on Steve Solkoski. That'll bring to the plate the left fielder Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far in the day 1 for 1 with a double. In Sunday's game, Rodriguez would end up going 1 for 3 with a run scored. He also struck out twice and walked in the game. So there's a runner at first, nobody out. Luke Wilkins getting his 3rd strikeout of the day. However, that man reached base. Wilkins has his sign, checks Dirks at first, and the pitch. And this one swung on and missed by Rodriguez, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Wilkins against these Beach Bums last time. Went 7 innings, not giving up a run. On 5 hits, walked 4 and struck out 4, picking up his 3rd win of the season. Wilkins has his sign, holds at the belt, throw over to first, and Dirks gets back. Dirks, as we said earlier, has 14 stolen bases on the year. That's good for the team lead on these Traverse City Beach Bums. No balls and a strike, nobody out. Here in the top of the 3rd, 1-0 Wild Things lead over the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. This one swung on a miss. Rodriguez going out of the zone to chase that one, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. Luke Wilkins had 4 strikeouts to be set against Traverse City last time. So far 3 here in his first 2+ innings of work. Dirks takes his lead from first. Luke Wilkins looking in. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Holds at the letters, checks Dirks at first, and the 0-2. Dirks takes off for second. This one swung on a miss. Solkoski's throw, and it is not in time, says Ron Winning Sr. on the bases. However, Luke Wilkins does strike out Casey Rodriguez, and there's now 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Beach Bums do have a runner at second, and that'll bring to the plate the 3rd baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas so far on the day 0 for 1. He struck out in his first at-bat. On Sunday, he would go 0 for 5 with a strikeout against the Lake Erie Crushers. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Vargas takes this one low and outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Casey Rodriguez chasing a couple pitches there from Luke Wilkins. Wilkins loves to get those swings and misses when he can, especially on balls out of the zone. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks Dirks at second, and the 1-0. And a swing and a miss by Vargas. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Beach Bums' 3rd baseman. Runner at second, 1 man out. Marcus Dirks struck out to lead off the inning. However, he would reach base on the pass ball by Steve Solkoski. Wilkins looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at second, and the 1-1. And a swing and a miss there by Vargas. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out. Vargas, a big swing and a miss there. It was a strikeout victim in his first at-bat. Vargas switching between DH and 3rd base. We talked about earlier, suffered an injury right before the All-Star break, which is limited into more time as a designated hitter than at 3rd base, but still getting a chance to play the position as he is here today. Now Steve Solkoski going out to talk to Luke Wilkins. We talked about, this is the first time Wilkins has thrown to Solkoski on the year. All season he's been throwing to Kyle Pollock, the primary catcher for the Washington Wild Things. So he wanted to talk things over with Solkoski and see what they want to do in this situation. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. In the top of the 3rd, there is a runner at second. Wilkins looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks that runner out there in the 1-2. And a swing and a foul ball off to the left, hitting towards the on-deck circle for the Traverse City Beach Bums, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Luke Wilkins had a rough first inning in terms of efficiency, 28 pitches. Calmed down in the second with only 18 pitches. Would like to have a quick inning here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Checks the man at second. The pitch. And that one's high and inside for a ball. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's when Wilkins throws a lot of pitches and starts getting wild, as we said, when things start to affect him. He's been in trouble in both of these innings. Had second and third, nobody out in the first, and had first and third with 2 men out last inning. Wilkins has his sign, the 2-2, and this ball grounded towards third. Ricky Rodriguez will handle it, but it's in foul territory, so the count will remain 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rodriguez letting that one bounce foul as he fielded it just beyond the third base bag. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 man out in this top of the third inning. A run on 3 hits and an error for your Wild Things. No runs, 3 hits, and no errors for the Traverse City Beach Bums. That 1 error, coming on Jimmy Yezzo on the bouncing ball to first base. Luke Wilkins looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 2 strike pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. Count fills up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. The third full count of the day for Luke Wilkins. Got into 2 full counts in the first inning. Got a lot of single and got a pop-up on those first 2. Wilkins looks in, has his sign. He's set. Will Kendra awaits on deck. Wilkins checks Dirks. Here's the 3-2. And that one's a called strike 3. Vargas strikes out, and that's out number 2 in the inning. That's the 6th strikeout of the day for Luke Wilkins. 3rd here in this inning as he has struck out all 3 batters he's faced. However, Marcus Dirks at second base reached on the pass ball by Steve Solkoski. That'll bring to the plate the shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far 0 for 1 with a flyout in this one on Sunday. Went 1 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a walk in the 3-2 loss. Wilkins has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Kenger hitting this one to right field and deep. Dave Popkins giving chase towards the track. He leaps, and he's not going to get it. It's off the wall. Dirks will score. Kenger's going to get into second with a 2-out double, and the Traverse City Beach Bums have tied this game. It's now 1-1, and that strikeout pass ball ends up hurting the Wild Things here in this top of the third as Dirks comes around to score. And now it's 1-1 with 2 men out in this top of the third inning. That'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Steven Patterson. Patterson so far in the day is 0 for 1, popped up in his first at-bat here tonight. On Sunday, Patterson went 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout. 2 men out, top of the third. 1-1 the score now between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one's low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the second baseman for the Traverse City Beach Bums. For Will Kenger, RBI number 45 on the season with that double. Wilkins has his sign, checks Kenger out there, the 1-0. That one's outside for a ball, and Wilkins falling behind Patterson now, 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. As we said, Wilkins struck out the first 3 men he faced in this inning. However, Marcus Dirks would reach on a pass ball and then came to score on that RBI double by Will Kenger. Here's Wilkins 2-0. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 here on Steven Patterson. Left-handed hitting second baseman against the right-handed pitcher, Luke Wilkins. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2 ball, 1 strike offering. This one ground to the right side. Jimmy Yezzo past a diving Yezzo, and that's into right field. Kenger around third. He's going to score easily, and Steven Patterson takes a wide turn around second. He'll hold there on a strong throw by Dave Popkins, but back-to-back RBI doubles have given the Traverse City, the Beach Bums, the lead here in the top of the third. Kenger comes in to score, and that'll bring to the plate the designated hitter, Elijah Trail. Trail so far on the day 0 for 1. He struck out in his first at-bat, and on Sunday, Elijah Trail did not play in the ballgame. Ryan Bacher did the designated hitting. Bacher went 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a strikeout on the day. So 2-1 Traverse City now leads here in the top of the third. For Steven Patterson, RBI number 54 on the season. His 54 RBIs are good for the team lead for the Traverse City Beach Bums. 2 men out here in the top of the third. 2 runs in for the Beach Bums. Back-to-back RBI doubles by Will Kenger and Steven Patterson. Elijah Trail now at the plate as Wilkins trying to get out of the inning. Wilkins has his sign, checks Patterson the pitch, and that one's in the dirt. Solkoski blocks it, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the designated hitter for Traverse City. 2 men out in this top of the third, only playing 7 innings here today. Game 1 of the doubleheader. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign, checks the runner at second, and the 1-0. This ball fouled off back behind home plate, over the stadium in fact, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, 2 men out here in the top of the third. Back-to-back RBI doubles have brought in 2 runs for the Traverse City Beach Bums here in this inning. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, checks second, and the 1-1. And that one's high for a ball. Count now going to 2 balls and 1 strike. And now, ever since giving up that RBI double to Will Kenger, Wilkins just not able to find his groove here on the mound. He hasn't been hitting his spots as he was earlier in this inning, and it's been affecting him so far in the latter half of this third inning. Wilkins has his sign, checks Patterson in the 2-1. And that one's high for a ball now. Count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count. Luke Wilkins behind Elijah Trail, and we talked about it. When Wilkins gets wild, things can start to snowball on him. He wants to try to end this inning right here, right now. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks second, and the 3-1. And a tie ball 4. First walk of the day for Luke Wilkins, and that'll put runners at first and second now with 2 men out. And it brings to the plate the first baseman, Christian Santisteban. Santisteban so far 0 for 1. Struck out in his first at-bat here tonight on Sunday's game for Christian Santisteban. He did not play. Giancarlo Bergoni played at first. Bergoni went 0 for 2 with 2 walks and a strikeout in the game. 2 men out here in the top of the third. 2-1 Traverse City leads. Luke Wilkins looking in to Steve Solkoski. Wilkins has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. And Santisteban takes this one high for a ball. Count going to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Wilkins, we said, struck out the first 3 men here in this third inning. Marcus Dirks would reach on a pass ball, and then Casey Rodriguez struck out swinging, and Jose Vargas struck out looking. And back-to-back RBI doubles brought in 2 runs. Next pitch, and that one swung on a miss by Santisteban. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Luke Wilkins making his 5th start against the Traverse City Beach Bums here in his career. He's 2-2 with a 4.43 ERA. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks the runner at second, and the 1-1. This one in the dirt. Solkoski able to block that one, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. His first 2 starts against Traverse City came last season, and they are mere opposites of each other. The first start went 3 innings, gave up 6 runs, then came back. His next start, 6 innings, and gave up 3 runs. Here's Wilkins 2-1, and that one's inside for a ball. 3 balls and a strike, and right now Luke Wilkins in danger of walking the bases loaded here in the top of the third with 2 men out. Wilkins looks into Solkoski, has his sign, he's set. Checks the runner at second, the 3-1. And this ball ground to the right side. Jimmy Yezzo handles it. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that's in time for out number 3. But not before 2 runs coming in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 2.5 the score, Traverse City 2, your Washington Wild Things nothing. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the third, and the score, Traverse City 2, Washington 1. Last inning for the Washington Wild Things, Grant Fink and Steve Solkoski would strike out to start the inning. Then Austin Wobrock would double before Andrew Heck came through with a single to left field. However, Casey Rodriguez, a strong throw, was able to cut down Austin Wobrock at the plate, and that would end the inning. Due up here in the third, Chris Grayson, Ricky Rodriguez, and Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4 for the Wild Things as they face off against Augie Gallardo. Now, guys, we said Gallardo made his first professional start last Wednesday night against the Washington Wild Things. Would go 6 innings in that ball game, gave 1 run. It was earned on 3 hits, walked 2, and struck out 8, picking up his first professional win, a 1.50 ERA. Gallardo pitched for Eastern Michigan earlier in his senior season in 2016, 4-4, 4.18 ERA. In his junior year in Eastern Michigan, 1-2 with a 7.83 ERA. In total in his college career, 15-17, 5.08 ERA. He also played for Mount San Janino College. Stepping in to lead things off here in the bottom of the third, center fielder Chris Grayson. Grayson so far in the day is 0 for 1, popped out his first time up, but Grayson on Sunday would go 1 for 4 with an RBI double, also grounded out twice and struck out in the ball game. Nobody out here in the bottom of the third. 2-1 Traverse City leads. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Grayson lifts his arms and takes this one inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Gallardo's 1-0 offering. And that one's low for a ball. Count to 2 balls and no strikes. Chris Grayson was signed a week before the All-Star break by the Washington Wild Things. Came from the Sioux Falls Canaries, the 2-0. And that one's a called strike hitting the outside corner. Count goes to 2-1. Last series against Schaumburg, a very good one for him. 6 for 12 in total. 2 doubles, a homer, and a triple in the series. The 2-1, that one's outside as well. 3 balls and a strike. And that good performance against Schaumburg won him the Week 15 Player of the Week in the Frontier League. 3-1, and that one's outside, ball 4. So a leadoff walk puts a runner on base for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the third. And that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far in this game, 1 for 1, hitting a solo home run back in the first. It was his 7th home run of the season. Stepping in with a runner at first, nobody out. Rodriguez in Sunday's game will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Both those hits singles, reached on an error, and struck out in the game. Grayson takes his lead from first. Gallardo has his sign, the pitch, and Rodriguez takes this one outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Wild Things third baseman. For the Wild Things at first base, Chris Grayson, 15 stolen bases on the year, leads the team. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the 1-0. And this one is a called strike at the knees. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Rodriguez laying off of that one out there at third base for the Wild Things today. We've also seen him in as a designated hitter and a left fielder for the Wild Things on the season. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the 1-1. And Rodriguez taking this one low and inside this time for a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Gallardo missing his spots here in the third inning to start things. A 5-pitch walk to Chris Grayson. Got the count to 3-1 before throwing ball 4. And right now down 2-1 here to Rodriguez. Gallardo has his sign. Throw over to first. And Grayson gets back in there. Gallardo keeping an eye on him. He knows he leads this team in stolen bases. Saw this guy just a week ago. So he has an idea to watch out for Grayson over there. Gallardo has his sign. He's set. And the 2-1. This ball fouled off to the right. That'll get back into the seats, foul. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Here on Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez, one of 4 representatives for the Wild Things on this year's All-Star team. That was their most representatives since the 2014 season. Gallardo has his sign. He's set. Throw over to first. And again, Chris Grayson gets back over there. Grayson not taking too big of a lead out there at first base. Just a normal-sized lead as he's on base. Augie Gallardo looking in at Gabby Warby. Has his sign. He's set. And Grayson taking off early, the 2-2. This one grounded to third, handled by Vargas. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. No chance at getting Chris Grayson at second. Grayson took off way early on that one and gets into second easily. That'll bring up the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far on the day, no official at bat as he walked his first time up on Sunday. Popkins would end up going 1 for 4, struck out twice in the ballgame, singled, and flew out against the Schaumburg Boomers. 1 man out here in the bottom of the third. 2-1. Traverse City leads over your Wild Things. Popkins leads the team with 43 RBIs. Gallardo checks second. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. Want to know the count of the Wild Things right fielder. Dave Popkins has only missed 1 game this season. Season for the Wild Things, as that was back on June the 12th. Gallardo has his sign, checks second. Grayson bouncing around out there, the 1-0. That one's inside for a ball, and the count now going to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count, as we said. Gallardo really having problems finding the strike zone here in this bottom of the third inning. Not hitting his spots like he has been early on in the ball game. Gallardo checks second, the 2-0, and that one's outside for a ball, so the count going to 3 balls and no strikes. Now on Dave Popkins. Gallardo trying to be very careful with Popkins. Popkins has a lot of power and looks for pitches to drive constantly. Gallardo has his sign, checks second, the 3-0, and that one's a called strike, hitting the knees on the low outside corner, and the count goes to 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 here on Dave Popkins. That was the count in his last at-bat before he walked in inning number 1. Gallardo has his sign, checks second, and the 3-1. That one's outside, ball 4. So a 1-out walk here to Dave Popkins, and that's going to put runners at first and second for the Wild Things, and will bring to the plate the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo so far, no official at-bat. He walked his first time as well. Chris Grayson at second, Dave Popkins at first. Each reached on a walk here in this inning. Wild Things 3 hits on the day compared to the Traverse City Beach Bums 5 hits. Jimmy Yezzo stepping in, trying to come through for his Wild Things. 36 RBIs in the year, good for second on the team. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the pitch. And Yezo takes this one for a strike at the knees. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things first baseman. Ever since Logan Uxel was cut, it's been exclusively Jimmy Yezo at first base when he's been healthy. The 0-1, and that one's up and in for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Yezo turning out of the way of that one. When Yezo was down with the ankle injury, it was Justin Garcia who got some playing time at first base. Looking in is Augie Gallardo going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. Checks second, the 1-1. And that one's a called strike at the knees, so Gallardo getting ahead of Yezo here. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count on the Wild Things first baseman. Chris Grayson at second. Dave Popkins over at first. Each of them walked. Grayson with nobody out and Popkins with 1 man out. Gallardo's 1-2. And a swing and a slow roller off to the right side and foul, and the count remains 1-2. First base coach Tim Provenzano coming in to get that one for the Wild Things. So it'll roll it towards the bat boy near the Wild Things dugout. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Augie Gallardo working from the stretch. Looks into Gabby Warby going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. Checks Grayson at second, the 1-2. And that one's high for a ball. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 here on Jimmy Yezo, batting from the left side against the right-handed pitcher, Augie Gallardo. Chris Grayson at second, Dave Popkins over at first. Gallardo set. Checks Grayson, and the 2-2. And that one's low for a ball, so the count fills up now on Jimmy Yezo. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Alvaro Gonzalez, the on-deck batter for the Washington Wild Things. Jimmy Yezo in his second year with the Wild Things. Played half a season for Washington a year ago. Gallardo looks in, has his sign, holds at the letters, and the 3-2. And this one lined right at Will Kendrick. He'll make the catch. Grayson and Popkins scramble back to their bases. And now there are 2 men out here in this bottom of the third. That brings to the plate the designated hitter, Alvaro Gonzalez. Gonzalez so far in the day is 0 for 1, popped out in the first inning, and in Sunday's ball game went 1 for 4, but his first professional home run, a solo home run over the left field wall that gave the Wild Things a 7-1 lead at that point. 2 men out here in the bottom of the third. Traverse City leading 2-1 over your Wild Things in this one. Gallardo has his sign, checks second. Here's the pitch, and Gonzalez takes this one low and outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Gonzalez has split time in his time with the Wild Things as designated hitter and third baseman for the team. He's been at third when Ricky Rodriguez has DH'd in these last couple weeks. Gallardo has his sign, the 1-0, and a swing and a miss by Gonzalez. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count for Alvaro Gonzalez. Hit 13 home runs at the University of New Mexico Highlands in his senior season. Hit .337 as well and had 42 RBIs. Gallardo has his sign, the 1-1. This one fouled back to the screen, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 2 men out, bottom of the third. 2-1, Traverse City Beach Bums lead your Washington Wild Things here at Consol Energy Park. You're listening to the MSA Sports Network. I'm Zach Ziegler. Looking in is Augie Gallardo. Has his sign, he's set. Checks Grayson at second, and the 1-2. And Gonzalez takes this one for a called strike 3 on the low inside corner, and that will end the inning. No runs for the Wild Things on no hits, no errors, and they leave 2 on after the 2 walks. After 3 innings of play here at Consol Energy Park, your score, Traverse City Beach Bums 2, your Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School, lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the fourth, and the score, Traverse City 2, Washington 1. Traverse City getting 2 runs in the top half of the third. Marcus Dirks would strike out to lead things off. However, he would reach base on the pass ball by Steve Solkowski, so there was a runner at first with nobody out. Then Casey Rodriguez and Jose Vargas would strike out for the first 2 outs of the inning before Will Kendrick came through with an RBI double. Dirks came around to score, and that tied the game at 1. 1 batter later, Steven Patterson came in, and he hit an RBI double of his own. Will Kendrick came around to score, and that gave Traverse City this 2-1 lead. Elijah Trail would then walk, and Christian Santisteban would ground out to end the inning. Go up here in the fourth, Gabby Warby, Jeff Debut, and Marcus Dirks, 8, 9, and 1 for the Beach Bums against Luke Wilkins. Now, Wilkins is very experienced on the mound in professional baseball. This is his second year with the Washington Wild Things. His Wild Things combined record 11-11 with a 3.65 ERA, but he's also pitched 6 seasons in the Australian Baseball League, all 6 with the Sydney Blue Sox. Did spend half a year with the Canberra Cavalry as well. Wilkins looking in to Gabby Warby, the batter, has his sign, the pitch. Warby showing bunt will get this one down. Wilkins sprinting off the mound to the left side, and will let this one roll foul, so the count will go to no balls and 1 strike. Wilkins about to grab that ball, but Ricky Rodriguez calling him off and telling him to let that one roll foul. Smart defensive play there by Rodriguez. No balls and a strike, nobody out. Gabby Warby so far on the day, 1 for 1, singled in his first at-bat, and in Sunday's game for Warby against Lake Erie, he would go 1 for 3, striking out in the ball game. No balls and a strike, nobody out. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Warby starting in his second straight game behind the plate. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 0-1. And Warby takes this one low and outside for a ball. Solkowski going down in the dirt to block that one, and the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Luke Wilkins looking in. The right-hander has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-1. And this ball swung on and slowly rolled to third. Rodriguez charging, and he bobbles it. He's going to boot it, and Gabby Warby will reach base to lead off the inning. We'll see what they give Rodriguez here, or if they give a hit to Gabby Warby. Still no sign on the scoreboard, but they will give Gabby Warby a hit now as they just put it up. So it's a leadoff single for Warby, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Jeff Debut. Debut so far 0 for 1. Reached on an error in his first at-bat, and Debut in Sunday's game went 0 for 3 with a walk. So Gabby Warby reaching to lead off the inning. Luke Wilkins right back to the stretch here in the 4th. Has his sign, the pitch. And this one lined in the right field line, foul towards the Wild Things bullpen. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count on Jeff Debut. Did not have a good series against the Wild Things back in Traverse City. Only got 1 hit combined in the 3 games. No balls and a strike, nobody out. Luke Wilkins looking in. Wilkins has his sign, he's set, and the no ball 1 strike pitch. And that one's inside for a ball. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. As we were saying, Wilkins pitched in the Australian Baseball League, a record of 11-6 in the Australian Baseball League, 3.74 ERA in 54 games, only 14 starts. His best season coming in 2013. This one grounded to the right side. Diving stop by Fink, but it goes off his glove, and that'll be a base hit for Jeff Debut. So back-to-back hits for the Traverse City Beach Bums put runners in first and second with nobody out here in the top of the 4th, and that brings to the plate the center fielder, Marcus Dirks. Dirks so far 1 for 2, singled in his first at-bat, and struck out in the top of the 3rd. One of 6 strikeout victims on the day for Luke Wilkins. Wilkins, as we were saying, his best season in Australian baseball came in 2013, 3-0 and a 0.28 ERA in 21 games, all of those out of the bullpen. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the pitch, and that one's low for a ball. Solkowski able to block that one, and the count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count, already the 3rd time through this Traverse City lineup, as Luke Wilkins having trouble getting outs early on. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks Warby over at second, and the pitch on the way. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. That evens up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Both pitchers here in these middle innings are missing their spots, as we saw Augie Gallardo last inning have trouble locating the zone. And right now, Luke Wilkins having some of the same issues. Has his sign, the 1-1, and this one swung on and fouled away by Marcus Dirks. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, nobody out, top of the 4th. 2 men on for Traverse City. Gabby Warby stands at second, and Jeff Debut over at first base. 2-1 Traverse City Beach Bums lead your Wild Things here in this one. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Beach Bums. 1 run, 3 hits, and an error for the Wild Things. Gabby Warby takes his lead from second. Jeff Debut his lead from first. Wilkins looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks Warby out there in the 1-2. And a swing and a miss. Wilkins strikes out Marcus Dirks, and that's good for out number 1. That's the 7th strikeout on the day for Luke Wilkins. His season high is 9, or his career high, is 9 in the Frontier League, done on September 6th. against the Windy City Thunderbolts. Just 2 away from that, 7 strikeouts of the day, and that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far is 1 for 2, doubled in the first, and struck out in inning number 3. Luke Wilkins looks in, has his sign, checks Warby at second, the pitch. And that one's high for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Casey Rodriguez. We said played in only one of the 3 games a week ago when these two teams met. Wilkins has his sign. Checks Warby at second, the 1-0. And Rodriguez takes this one for a strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Wilkins trying to work out of another jam here in this one. He's been in a jam in all 4 innings. Was not able to work out of the one in the top of the third as Traverse City got both its runs in that inning. Here's the 1-1. And this one grounded foul back towards the Wild Things dugout. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count, however, no action in the Wild Things bullpen as manager Greg Langben on the top step right now, but letting Luke Wilkins work things out here in the 4th inning. Wilkins looks into Steve Solkoski, has his sign, he's set. Checks the runner at second, the 1-2. And that one's outside for a ball. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Manager Greg Langben also serving as the pitching coach here on this team as he watches his starter Luke Wilkins very carefully. Wilkins has his sign, the 2-2, and this ball hit towards right center field. Chris Grayson drifting over a couple of steps. He'll make the catch, and that's in time for out number 2. Gabby Warby holds where he is at second base, so there's still runners at first and second with now 2 men out in the inning, and that brings to the plate the third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas so far 0 for 2, has struck out twice against Luke Wilkins here in this ball game. 2 men out, top of the 4th. 2-1 Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Gabby Warby at second, Jeff W. over at first. Wilkins has his sign, he's set, and the first pitch on the way. This ball popped up on the infield. Steve Solkoski going to the right side by the Wild Things dugout, and he's going to make the catch leaning over the railing. An impressive catch there, and that's in time for out number 3. Solkoski going all the way over the stands, leaning into the first row, and making a very nice catch to end the inning. So no runs in the inning for the Beach Bums on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 3.5, the score, Traverse City 2, your Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 4th, and the score, Traverse City 2 and your Washington Wild Things 1. Last inning for the Wild Things, Chris Grayson led things off with a walk. Then Ricky Rodriguez would ground out before Dave Popkins walked, so that put runners at first and second with 1 man out. Then Jimmy Yeza would line out, and Alvaro Gonzalez struck out to end the inning. Due up here in the 4th, Grant Fink, Steve Solkoski, and Austin Wobrock, 7, 8, and 9 against Augie Gallardo. Now Gallardo starting his first year in professional baseball, as we said, coming out of college his senior year at Eastern Michigan. This year 4-4, a 4.18 ERA. His best collegiate season was actually his freshman year for Mount San Juanito College. He went 7-5 with a 5.10 ERA in that year. Struck out 46 in 83 innings of work in total in his college career. Struck out 197 in 273 innings of work. Gallardo so far in his professional career has 3 strikeouts today, had 7 in his first game. That was against the Wild Things as well. So has 10 strikeouts in his first 9 professional innings. Leading things off here in the bottom of the 4th is Grant Fink. Fink so far in this one 0 for 1 with a strikeout. On Sunday, Fink would go 0 for 2. Popped out, flew out, and walked in the game. Here's the pitch, and Fink hits this one to left field. Casey Rodriguez initially stands where he is, now takes a couple steps back on the track, and he's going to make the catch, and that's in time for out number 1. So quickly 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 4th, and that'll bring to the plate the catcher, Steve Solkoski. Solkoski so far 0 for 1, struck out looking in his first at-bat against Augie Gallardo. Kyle Pollock caught on Sunday, and Pollock would end up going 1 for 4 with an RBI. Singled, flew out, struck out, and grounded out in the ball game. Gallardo looks in, has his sign, the pitch, and Solkoski takes this one high for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Solkoski 1 for 6 in his Wild Things career coming into today. Got his only hit last Wednesday night against Augie Gallardo, the 1-0, and that one's a called strike. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count, 1 man out here in the bottom of the fourth. 2-1, Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Gallardo's 1-1 offering, and that one's low for a ball, so the count now going to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Augie Gallardo had a little bit of trouble locating his pitches back in that third inning. Right now, behind Solkoski, 2-1. Got a 1 pitch out of Grant Fink, however, so at least a good start to this inning. Gallardo has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-1. And that one's low for a ball. Count now going to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count on the Wild Things catcher. 2-1 Traverse City leads here at Consol Energy Park. Game 1 of this doubleheader. No wind to speak of right now here at the park, though. It's 3-1, and this one grounded to second. Stephen Patterson will handle it, throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things in the bottom of the fourth, and it brings to the plate the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far 1 for 1 with a double here in this game. On Sunday, went 1 for 3, singled and scored a run, also hit into a double play, and flew out in the ball game. 2 men out, bottom of the fourth. 2-1, Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Austin Wobrock, in his second year as a Wild Thing, was second on the team with 31 RBIs a year ago, only hit 1 home run like he has this year. Gallardo has his sign, the pitch, and Wobrock takes this one for a strike on the outside corner, no balls and a strike. Now, Wobrock's home run came very early in the season, hit in the 3rd game of the year against the Gateway Grizzlies. Here's the 0-1. And Wobrock takes this one outside for a ball. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Wild Things shortstop. 2 men out, bottom of the fourth. Here's the 1-1. And a swing and a miss. And the count now going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, bottom of the fourth. 2 men out. 2-1, Traverse City leads. Gallardo has his sign, the 1-2. And that one's just outside for a ball. Even things up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Righty on lefty matchup. Gallardo, the right-handed pitcher, facing off against the left-handed hitter, Austin Wobrock. The 2-2. And this one line foul back to the screen, so the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Augie Gallardo, not too efficient here in this one. 21 pitches in the first, 26 last inning in the third. Did have a good second inning where he threw 14 pitches. The 2-2. And this one lined up the middle, and that's a base hit. Wobrock hitting that one right back from where it came. And there's a runner at first for the Wild Things with 2 men out. That'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far in this one, 1 for 2. Flew out in the first and singled in inning number 2. That single almost brought Wobrock home. However, Casey Rodriguez out in left field threw out Wobrock at the plate. That was the last out of the second inning. 2 men out, bottom of the fourth. Here at Consol Energy Park, game 1 of this doubleheader. Wobrock takes his lead from first. Gallardo has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Heck takes this one low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Warby faked a snap throw to first behind the plate. However, Wobrock back easily. Wobrock so far in the year, 6 stolen bases, is good for a tie of second on the club. He tied with Andrew Heck currently at the plate. Gallardo has his sign, the 1-0, and this ball hit towards right field. Going back on it and making the catch is the right fielder, Jeff Debut, and that's in time for out number 3. No runs in the inning for the Wild Things on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 4 innings of play, the score, Traverse City Beach Bums 2, your Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 5th, and the score, Traverse City 2 and your Washington Wild Things 1. Last inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Gabby Warby would single to lead things off. Jeff Dubuque followed that with a single of his own. That put runners at first and second with nobody out. Marcus Dirks would then strike out. Casey Rodriguez would fly out, and Jose Vargas would pop out. To end the inning. Due up here in the 5th, Will Kenger, Stephen Patterson, and Elijah Trail, 4, 5, and 6 against Luke Wilkins. Will Kenger making his way to the plate right now. Kenger so far in the day is 1 for 2, flew out in the first, and hit an RBI double and scored a run in inning number 3. He drove in the first run of the game for Traverse City here tonight. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And Kenger lining this one foul off to the left back into the seats, and the count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. Luke Wilkins working out of another jam in that 4th inning, looking for his first 1-2-3 inning here in inning number 5. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And this one swung on and missed by Kenger. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, and the cleanup man for Traverse City. Will Kenger's been in that cleanup spot all year long. He's a rare shortstop with power. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Here's the 0-2. And a swing and a miss. Wilkins strikes out Will Kenger. That's his 8th strikeout of the day, and he's 1 away from his career high here in the Frontier League in strikeouts. His season career high is 77. Struck out 77 for the Wild Things in 2015. That'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Stephen Patterson. Patterson so far, 1 for 2, popped out in the first, and hit an RBI double in inning number 3. 8 strikeouts on the day for Wilkins. Has his sign. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Here on Stephen Patterson, the second baseman, leads the team in RBIs on the year with 54. The 1-0, a check swing there, and he did not go around, says Brian Miller. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 here on the second baseman for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Last meeting between these two teams in the regular season this year. Here's the 2-0. And that one's outside for a ball, so Wilkins falling behind Patterson now. 3 balls and no strikes. Patterson part of that 2-run 3rd inning. Back-to-back RBI doubles, bringing in the runs. Here's the 3-0. And that one's a called strike. This time Wilkins hitting the outside corner. Count goes to 3 balls and a strike. Stephen Patterson standing in there for the Beach Bums at 5'10", 200 pounds. Here's the 3-1. And this one lined on the right field line. Popkins giving chase. He's not going to get it. He'll cut it off before the wall. That'll force Patterson to stay at first with a long 1-out single. There's a runner at first with 1 out for the Beach Bums, and that brings to the plate the designated hitter, Elijah Trail. Trail so far 0 for 1 has struck out and walked in this ball game. 1 man out, top of the 5th. Wilkins going right back to the stretch as he has been in every inning. Elijah Trail batting from the right side against the righty Luke Wilkins. Wilkins looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And a swing and a miss there by Trail. That one going off the outside part of the plate, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Elijah Trail. Trail and Vargas have been splitting time between the DH role and the third base role. Whichever one the other is not doing is where the other will be. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And that one's inside for a ball. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Last series, Elijah Trail played 2 games of the 3 at third base. Jose Vargas getting 1 of those 3 games out of the third base position. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. Checks first. And the 1-1. And a swing and a miss there by Trail. Count now going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2, 1 man out here in the top of the 5th. 2-1 Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Luke Wilkins looking for a scoreless inning here in the 5th. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. And this ball popped up to the left side. Ricky Rodriguez giving chase over towards the Traverse City bullpen, but he's going to run out of room as that'll fall into the lawn area off to the left here at Consol Energy Park, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Wilkins, we said, 1 away from his career high in strikeouts for a game. He struck out 9 last season, September 6th, against the Windy City Thunderbolts. Also picked up his first complete game in the Frontier League in that ball game. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man out. Wilkins has his sign. He'll hold the letters and the 1 ball, 2 strike pitch. Swing and a miss, and he gets Elijah Trail. That's out number 2. 9th strikeout of the day for Luke Wilkins. Ties his career high here in the Frontier League, and that'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Christian Santisteban. Santisteban so far 0 for 2, struck out in the second and grounded out in inning number 3. Now 2 men out here in the top of the 5th. 2-1, Traverse City leads over your Wild Things. Game 1 of this doubleheader at Consol Energy Park. Wilkins looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks the runner at first, and the pitch on the way. Throw over, and getting back over there is Steven Patterson. Patterson singled with 1 man out in this inning following the strikeout by Will Kendra to start the inning. Patterson so far in the year, 6 stolen bases in 82 games. Takes his lead. Wilkins has his sign, the pitch, and that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Christian Santisteban was signed also in mid-July by the Traverse City Beach Bums. Same time that Marcus Dirks was signed, the Beach Bums center fielder. Wilkins has his sign. Here's the 0-1. And Santisteban takes this one low for a ball. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count on the Beach Bums first baseman. Lefty on righty matchup. Luke Wilkins, the right-handed pitcher, facing off against Santisteban, the left-handed batter. Wilkins looks in, going through the signs, has one he likes, he's set. And the 1 ball, 1 strike pitch. And that one's a called strike on the outside corner. Count goes to 1-2. Wilkins, 1 ball, 2 strikes, looking to go into double digits in strikeouts for the first time in his Frontier League career. Colin Stanley, a right-hander, up and throwing in the Wild Things bullpen. Wilkins has his sign, he's set, and the 1-2. And a swing and a ground ball foul towards the Wild Things dugout. Hits off the railing in front of the Wild Things dugout. And the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Devin Davis, the personal protector for Colin Stanley, is going to retrieve that ball and throw it into the stands. The bullpens here at Consol Energy Park located in foul territory. So personal protectors needed out there for the pitchers throwing as their backs are to the plate. Throw over to first, and Patterson gets back in there. Not a very big lead for Patterson over at first base. Traverse City up by 1 here in the late going of this ball game. Top of the 5th. 2-1 Traverse City leads here in this 7-inning ball game. Wilkins has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2. Patterson takes off for second. A swing and a miss for Santisteban. He strikes out, and that will end the inning. 10 strikeouts for Wilkins, a new career high. And after 4.5, the score. Traverse City 2, your Washington Wild Things 1. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 5th, and the score, Traverse City 2, your Washington Wild Things 1. Last inning for the Wild Things, Grant Fink would fly out to lead things off. Steve Solkowski would then ground out for the second out of the inning. Austin Walbrock, a hard line drive up the middle. That was good for a single before Andrew Heck flew out to end the inning. Due up here in the 5th, Chris Grayson, Ricky Rodriguez, and Dave Popkins, 2, 3, and 4 against Augie Gallardo here in the bottom of the 5th. Wild Things trying to fight back here in this game. They scored their only run back in the bottom of the 1st, a solo home run by Ricky Rodriguez over the left field wall, his 7th of the year, and that's the only run so far given up by Augie Gallardo. Gallardo, as we said, his first professional start against the Washington Wild Things, and in that game went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. It was earned on 3 hits, walked 2, and struck out 7 in the ball game for Traverse City. So doing a very good job here in his first 2 professional starts, both of them coming against the Washington Wild Things. Stepping in to lead things off for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 5th is their center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far 0 for 1, popped out in the 1st and walked in inning number 3. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th. 2-1 Beach Bums lead over your Washington Wild Things here at Consol Energy Park. As we said, a decent crowd, just under halfway full here at Consol Energy Park on this Tuesday night doubleheader. Here's the pitch from Gallardo. Grayson showing bunt, but he'll pull back and he'll take a strike at the knees. Count goes to no balls and 1 strike. 0-1 the count. $2 Tuesday here at Consol Energy Park. Hot dogs, drinks, all $2 here on this Tuesday night. Here's the 0-1. And Grayson takes this one high for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. Be sure to stay tuned to the MSA Sports Network. 30 minutes after this game, we'll have game 2 of this doubleheader for you. The 1-1, and Grayson popping this one up. Back behind the plate, Gabby Warby throws off the mask, and he'll make the catch just below the Wild Things logo. That's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things in the bottom of the 5th, and that brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 1 for 2, hit a solo home run in the first and grounded out in inning number 3. That home run was his 7th home run of the year. Also picked up his 30th RBI. The 7 home runs are good for 4th on the team, while those 30 RBIs are good for 3rd behind Dave Popkins and Jimmy Yezzo. The pitch, and Rodriguez takes this one off the inside corner of the plate. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Rodriguez. Here's Gallardo's 1-0, and that one's low for a ball as well. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Rodriguez drove in 2 runs in Sunday's game and driving in a run here today with that home run. The 2-0, that one's low for a ball, and the count now going to 3 balls and no strikes. 3 straight balls here from Augie Gallardo in this bottom of the 5th inning. Has his sign. Here's the 3-0, and that one's a called strike, hitting the outside corner this time. That makes the count 3-1. No action down in the Traverse City Beach Bums bullpen yet. Some guys stretching out there just in case. The 3-1, and this one hit the right field, giving Chase his debut, and this one will land foul. Just to the right-hand side of the right field foul line. The Wild Things bullpen trying to convince the umpires otherwise, but first base umpire Ron Winning Sr. right on that one. It landed in foul territory. Rodriguez will have to go back now with a full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, 1 man out, bottom of the 5th. 2-1, Traverse City leads. Dave Popkins is next. He'll follow Rodriguez. Gallardo looks in, has his sign. He's set. Here's the 3-2. Swinging a line drive to left field, and that's a base hit. Rodriguez's 2nd hit of the day as he'll reach with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Dave Popkins. Popkins so far in the day, no official at-bat, has walked twice here in this ball game. So stepping in with 1 man out, leads the team with 43 RBIs on the season. 1 man out, bottom of the 5th, 2-1. Traverse City leads over the Wild Things. Wild Things trying to come back here in this ball game. Colin Stanley's been up in the Wild Things bullpen. He'll more than likely come on to pitch inning number 6. Gallardo has his sign. The pitch, and that one's low and inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count. Gallardo's been very careful with Dave Popkins all day. And with that last hit, that'll prompt action in Traverse City's bullpen as Andrew Brockett, the right-hander, warmed me up out there. Gallardo has his sign. He's set the 1-0. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, I've noticed when Popkins has been to the plate here in this game, Gallardo has not been anywhere near the middle of the zone. That's when you want to work on those corners against Dave Popkins, but he has not been able to paint those well enough to get Popkins out in this one. The 1-1, that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. Popkins has power to all fields, so he's a guy you have to pitch very carefully to. Gallardo has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And Popkins takes this one way outside as Warby having to slide out to his left to make that catch. And that makes the count 3 balls and a strike. Ricky Rodriguez, the runner at second. Rodriguez, 2 stolen bases on the year for the Wild Things. Good for 5th on the team. Gallardo has his sign, the 3-1. And that one's outside, ball 4. So the 3rd walk today to Dave Popkins. He's reached base all 3 times. There's runners at 1st and 2nd now for the Wild Things with 1 man out, and it'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. However, Dan Roan making his way out of the Beach Bums dugout right now. No motion to the bullpen just yet, so we'll see if this is just a conversation between his manager and his young right-hander as he gave up the single to Ricky Rodriguez and then walked Dave Popkins. There's runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 man out for the Wild Things, trying to come back in this ball game. Remember, we only play 7 here in these doubleheader games. The meeting on the mound is done. Dan Roan will make his way back to the Traverse City dugout. Dan Roan took over the managerial duties in Traverse City just after your Wild Things manager, Greg Langben, left. Langben coached for the Beach Bums from 2008 to 2013, then took a couple of years with the Houston Astros as their video coordinator before joining the Wild Things as their manager. Jimmy Yezzo to the plate right now. Yezzo so far 0 for 1 with a walk and a line out in the game. Gallardo has his sign, the pitch, and a swing and a miss there by Yezzo to ball in the dirt. Gabby Warby blocking that one, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Exclusive first baseman now for the Wild Things after Logan Uxa was cut by the team a couple of weeks ago. Looking in is Augie Gallardo. Gallardo has his sign. He's set. Checks Rodriguez at second. And the 0-1. Yezzo, a swing and a foul ball rolled slowly to the Wild Things dugout. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count of the Wild Things first baseman. Bats from the left-hand side. As we said, coming off that ankle injury he suffered 2 weeks ago against the Lake Erie Crushers, wearing that Evo shield on his right foot. Gallardo has his sign, holds at the letters, checks second, and the 0-2 offering. And Yezzo following this one back behind the stadium, and the count remains no balls and strikes. 0-2 the count, 1 man out. Jimmy Yezzo from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. His second year with the Washington Wild Thing. Yezzo standing in there at 6 foot, 205 pounds. Gallardo looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2. This one lined into left field, and that's a base hit. Manager Greg Langbank going to hold Ricky Rodriguez at third, so it's a 1-out single for Yezzo, and that'll load the bases for the Washington Wild Things here with 1 man out, and it brings to the plate the designated hitter, Alvaro Gonzalez. Gonzalez so far in the day 0 for 2, popped out to the catcher in his first at-bat, and struck out in inning number 3. Big situation for Alvaro Gonzalez right now, 1 out, bases full of Wild Things. They're down 2-1 to the Traverse City Beach Bums. Gonzalez hoping to help them get back the lead. Gallardo looking in. Santisteban playing into the grass at first. And the third baseman Vargas playing even with the bag. First pitch, that's called a strike at the knees. Count goes to no balls and a strike. Middle infielders at double play depth. Outfield playing deep here for Traverse City, trying to cut off any doubles that Gonzalez could hit. Here's the 0-1, and this one hit towards shallow left field, hooking into foul territory. Vargas giving chase, and he makes a very nice over-the-shoulder catch for out number 2. A very nice play there by Jose Vargas. That's out number 2. All runners will stay where they are. Vargas running with his head to the sky towards Traverse City's bullpen. Nice job by the bullpen pitchers to kind of guide him as to where he was. Vargas could just focus on the ball, made a very nice basket catch in foul territory. Now 2 men out, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Grant Fink. Fink so far 0 for 2, struck out in the second and flew out in inning number 4. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th, 2-1 Traverse City leads. Gallardo checks third, here's the pitch. Fink hits this one to left field. Rodriguez going back towards the track. He leaped. He's not going to get it. Rodriguez scores. Popkins going to be waved around. They're going to hold Yezzo at third. It's a 2-run double for Grant Fink, and your Wild Things take the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. It's now 3-2. A 2 RBI double for Grant Fink. Popkins and Rodriguez both come around to score, and the Wild Things take the lead late here in the bottom of the 5th. Clutch hitting there by Grant Fink. Casey Rodriguez going back to the track, tried to make that catch, leaped, and just got it over the tip of the glove of Rodriguez, did Grant Fink. Fink in there with a double. That'll bring manager Dan Roan to the mound, and we're going to have a pitching change. So we're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the 5th, and the Wild Things lead this one 3-2.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We ensure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, All of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the fifth with 2 outs, and your Washington Wild Things lead this one 3-2 following a 2 RBI double by Grant Fink. New pitcher on for the Traverse City Beach Bums, and it's going to be right-hander Andrew Brockett. Brockett so far in the year, 3-4, has 5 saves on the year, a 5.95 ERA. Appearing in his 25th game, has thrown 22 2/3 innings of work, giving up 16 runs, 15 of those earned on 31 hits, striking out 17 and walking 6 on the year. First man due up to face him here in this bottom of the 5th inning with 2 runs already in is the catcher, Steve Solkoski. Solkoski so far on the day is 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out in the ball game. Book not closed yet on Augie Gallardo, but so far 4 2/3 has given up 3 runs, all earned on 7 hits, has walked 3 and struck out 3 in this ball game. Andrew Brockett on, looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the pitch. And a swing and a miss by Solkoski. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 on the Wild Things catcher, Steve Solkoski, getting his second start in a week here for the Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Wild Things have 2 doubleheaders this week. This one against Traverse City, and on Friday they'll play a doubleheader with the Joliet Slammers. Brockett has his sign, the 0-1, and that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Andrew Brockett coming in for Augie Gallardo. Gallardo made his second start of his professional career here in this game. Brockett looking into Gabby Warby, going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set, and the pitch. And a swing and a miss by Solkoski. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes for Andrew Brockett in his second year with the Traverse City Beach Bums. Pitched for them in 2015, went 3-0 with a 1.54 ERA in 32 games. So far this year, 3-4, 5.95. Was an all-star last year as well for Traverse City. Brockett has his sign, he's set, checks third, and the 1-2. This one in the dirt. Solkoski able to lay off that one. Count going even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Steve Solkoski, playing in only his 5th game as a Washington Wild Thing, was signed as the backup catcher after the Wild Things had signed Zach Fish out of Oklahoma State University. However, Fish was used more as a designated hitter and an outfielder in his time with the Wild Things, so Solkoski signed as the backup. Now a third catcher on the team, as John Fidanza was activated from the disabled list. Brockett has his sign, and the 2-2. This one's low for a ball, and the count now filling up here on Steve Solkoski. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count. Runners are at second and third. Jimmy Yezzo standing at third. Grant Fink at second. Fink coming through with the big 2 RBI double. Andrew Brockett looking into his catcher, Warby. Going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set, and the 3-2. Swinging a foul ball by Solkoski back to the screen. That'll keep the count full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Austin Wobrock, the on-deck hitter for the Washington Wild, thinks he will be next if Solkoski can reach base. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 7th pitch of this at-bat coming to Steve Solkoski. Brockett looks in. Going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. Hold to the letters. Checks Yezzo at third, the 3-2. Swinging a slow roller back to short. Will Kendrick's going to handle it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. However, the Wild Things getting 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. After 5 innings of play, the score, your Wild Things 3, Traverse City 2. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POGS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POGS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 6th, and your Wild Things now lead this one 3-2 over the Traverse City Beach Bums. New pitcher on for the Washington Wild Things. It'll be right-hander Colin Stanley. Stanley so far in the year, 3-1, 2 saves, a 2.76 ERA. Appearing in his 30th game, has thrown 39 innings of work, giving up 15 runs, 12 of those earned on 31 hits, walked 11, and struck out 33 on the year so far. Final line for Luke Wilkins. Wilkins goes 5 innings, giving up 2 runs, both earned, on 8 hits, did not walk a man, and struck out 10 in the ball game. Go up to face Wilkins here in this 6th inning. 8-9-1, Gabby Warby, Jeff Debut, and Marcus Dirks for Traverse City. Now down a run as the Wild Things lead 3-2. Colin Stanley, in his 2nd year with the Washington Wild Things, made his Frontier League debut last year in Evansville, Indiana at Bosse Field. So getting the appearance here, his 30th appearance of the year. Tied for 2nd on the team with Andrew Wick. Wick also has 30 appearances. Devin Davis leads the club in appearances with 31. Gabby Warby making his way to the plate to lead things off here in the top of the 6th. Warby so far 2 for 2, has singled twice in this ball game. Stanley looking in, has his sign. Here's the pitch. And this one comes inside and gets Warby right on the thigh. So Colin Stanley, right off the bat, hitting the first man he faces here in this ball game. So a hit by pitch puts a runner on base for the Traverse City Beach Bums with nobody out, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Jeff Debut. Debut so far 1 for 2, reached on an error his first time out, and singled back in inning number 4. So Gabby Warby reaching base. Colin Stanley, his 2nd year with the Wild Things. Last season, 0-1, a 1.24 ERA. Struck out 36 in 21 2/3 innings. So far this year, 33 strikeouts in 39 innings of work. Stanley has his sign, the pitch. That one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the right fielder for the Traverse City Beach Bums, Jeff Debut. Debut has played in right field in all 10 matchups between these two teams. Stanley looking in, going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. And the 1 ball, no strike pitch. This one's a called strike at the knees, and the count evens up at 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Jeff Debut. Nobody out. Debut standing in there for the Traverse City Beach Bums at 6', 185 from Houma, Louisiana. Stanley has his sign. Warby takes his lead from first, and the 1-1. That one's outside for a ball, and the count now going to 2 balls and a strike here on Traverse City's right fielder. 2-1, nobody out. The Wild Things have taken 2 of 3 in 2 of the 3 matchups between these two teams previously. Traverse City taking 2 out of 3 in one of those as well. Stanley has his sign. He's set the 2-1. That one's low for a ball, and the count now going to 3 balls and 1 strike. 3-1 the count. In the first 2 series between these teams, it had been the home team that had been the more successful bunch. The Wild Things took 2 out of 3 when Traverse City came to Consol Energy Park earlier the year, and Traverse City took 2 out of 3 in Traverse City the first time the Wild Things were there. However, Wild Things taking 2 out of 3 in the last one, the 3-1, and that one's hammered to right field. Popkins going back, and this one's off the wall. Warby around second. He's going to be waved to the plate. Popkins trouble fielding it out there. So Warby will score easily. And in with a triple is Jeff Debut. And just like that, the Traverse City Beach Bums retie this game. It is now 3-3 as Colin Stanley gives up a run here in the top of the 6th. That ball was crushed by Jeff Debut to the gap. Dave Popkins had trouble handling it out there in right center field, and that cost the Wild Things any remote chance they would have had at throwing out Warby at the plate. Now 3-3 the score, and that'll bring up the center fielder Marcus Dirks. Dirks so far in this one is 1 for 3, singled in the first and struck out in each of his last 2 at-bats. So Jeff Debut at third. Infield comes in for the Wild Things. Stanley has his sign, the pitch. This one ground up the middle, and it's a base hit into center field. Debut will score, and Traverse City now takes the lead here in the top of the 6th. It's now 4-3 after the Wild Things took the lead in the bottom half of the 5th. The Traverse City Beach Bums answer right back here in the bottom of the 6th. It's now 4-3 for Marcus Dirks That is RBI number 20 on the year. That'll bring up the left fielder, Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far, 1 for 3, doubled in the first, struck out in the third, and flew out in inning number 4. Runner at first, nobody out. The pitch, Rodriguez showing bunt. He'll pull back and take a strike at the letters, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. So the first 3 men reach base against Colin Stanley. 2 runs come in this inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums as they take the lead. It's now 4-3. The pitch, Rodriguez showing bunt again, gets this one down, but this time in foul territory, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Marcus Dirks was taking off for second on that one. He'll have to go back to his first base bag. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Colin Stanley came in looking for a clean inning and doesn't get it. Luke Wilkins now will get a no decision here in this ball game. Devin Davis starts to warm in the Wild Things pen. Stanley has his sign, the 0-2. And this one gets down. Stanley will grab it, throws on to first, and it's a sacrifice bunt for Casey Rodriguez. Moving up to second is Marcus Dirks. So there's a runner at second now with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas so far 0 for 3. Struck out once in the first, once in the third, and then popped out in inning number 4. Colin Stanley coming in, giving up 2 runs here in this inning. Had the second lowest ERA on the team among eligible pitchers behind Christian Powell, who doesn't have one yet. The pitcher has 117, That one's low and outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Traverse City third baseman. Traverse City getting 2 in this inning on an RBI triple by Jeff Debut and an RBI single by Marcus Dirks. Stanley has his sign. He's set, check second, and the 1-0. This one grounded towards short. Austin Wobrock handles on the hop, flips to third, and they'll get the lead man there, so it's a fielder's choice. 6-5 on the putout. Jose Vargas reaches first. Marcus Dirks thrown out going to third, and there are now 2 men out here in the top of the 6th. That brings to the plate the shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far in this one, 1 for 3, flew out in the first, hit an RBI double in inning number 3, and struck out in inning number 5. Meanwhile, manager Greg Langben coming out of the Wild Things dugout, and that's going to be it for reliever Colin Stanley. We're going to take a break here on the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with more coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Current score, top of the 6th, Traverse City 4, your Washington Wild Things 3.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently in the top of the 6th, and the score, Traverse City 4 and your Washington Wild Things 3. New pitcher on for the Washington Wild Things. It'll be left-hander Devin Davis. Davis so far in the year, record of 1-1, has 6 saves, a 3.25 ERA, appearing in his 33rd game. Has thrown 36 innings of work, and we have 14 runs, 13 of those earned on 34 hits, striking out 41 and walking 11 on the night. Stepping in to lead off things against him here in this top of the 6th inning with 2 men out is the shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far 1 for 3. Has hit a double, struck out, and flown out in the game. The pitch, and that one's low for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Traverse City shortstop. Davis in his first year with the Washington Wild Things, one of the quicker workers on this Wild Things team, has his sign, the 1-0. And that one's low for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Davis pitched in the Chicago White Sox organization. Got up to Double-A last year before being released and signed by the Wild Things. The 2-0. That one's on the outside corner for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. 2 men out. The runner at first is Jose Vargas. He reached on a fielder's choice. Davis is 2-1. And this one line foul off to the left. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Manager Greg Langman electing to go with his tall left-hander against the left-handed batter Will Kenger rather than let Colin Stanley stay in the game. Davis has his sign, the 2-2, and this one grounded right back to the mound. Davis will handle it. He'll flip one to Yezzo, and that's in time for out number 3. But not before the Traverse City Beach Bums get 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave a man on. After 5.5, the score, Traverse City 4, your Washington Wild Things 3. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 6th, and the score, Traverse City 4 and your Washington Wild Things 3. Last inning for the Wild Things, they would score 2 runs, and they took the lead at that time against the Beach Bums, currently down 4-3. Chris Grayson popped out to start things, then Ricky Rodriguez singled, Dave Popkins walked, and Jimmy Yezzo singled to load the bases. Alvaro Gonzalez would then pop out on a very nice catch by Jose Vargas over in foul territory off to the left, and Grant Fink would then come through with a 2 RBI double. Rodriguez and Popkins both scored, and the Wild Things took what at that time was a 3-2 lead. Next batter was Steve Solkowski. He would ground out to end the inning. The line is final now for Augie Gallardo. Gallardo went 4 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs, all those runs earned, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Andrew Brockett in for his first full inning of relief here for Traverse City against the Wild Things, and stepping in to lead things off against him in the bottom of the 6th is the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far 2 for 2, a double and a single so far on the day. Brockett looking in, going through the signs, has one he likes, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And this one grounded softly to second base. Steven Patterson handles it. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in this bottom of the 6th, and that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far in the day is 1 for 3. Flew out in the first, singled in the second, and flew out in inning number 4. 1 man out here in the bottom of the 6th, 4-3. Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Game 2 coming up about a half hour after the end of this game right here. Brockett has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. Heck takes this one for a strike at the knees, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the Wild Things left fielder. 4th time through the Wild Things order here in this doubleheader. Don't see that a lot in these 7-inning games. Usually see about 3 times through the lineup. But the Wild Things into their 4th here. Here's the 0-1. Check swing by Heck, but he'll take this one in the outside corner for a strike. Count now going to no balls and 2 strikes. Andrew Brockett looking for a clean inning here against the Wild Things. His Beach Bums lead 4-3. Has his sign and the 0-2. Check swing by Heck. This time he'll take one outside for a ball, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count, 1 man out. Heck in his 4th year with the Washington Wild Things. Started his Wild Things career in 2012. He's the veteran on this team. Brockett has his sign, the 1-2, and a swing and a fly ball towards right. Going back on at his debut, and he'll make the catch a couple of steps in front of the track, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in this bottom half of the 6th, and that'll bring to the plate the center fielder, Chris Grayson. Grayson so far in the day, 0 for 2, popped out in the first, walked in the third, and popped out in inning number 5. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 6th. Wild Things down 4-3 to the Traverse City Beach Bums. Grayson at the plate trying to get a 2-out rally started. Chris Grayson was named the Week 15 Hitter of the Week here in the Frontier League, including a 6 for 12 series against the Schaumburg Boomers. Brockett has his sign, the pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. In total, last week he was 11 for 24. He's faced off against these Traverse City Beach Bums and the Boomers. Brockett has his sign, he's set, and the 1-0. That one's low for a ball, and the count now goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count on the Wild Things center fielder. Brockett being careful with him. There is action in the Traverse City bullpen as warming up out there is Luke Barker. Brockett has his sign, the 2-0, and this one hammered to right field. Going back is debut to the wall and exit stage right. A solo home run for Chris Grayson, his 4th home run of the year, and this game is all tied up at 4. Grayson's 4th, and when you need an attorney to hit one out of the park for you, yo, Keith. That home run brought to you by Keith Owen Campbell, attorney at law. A solo shot by Chris Grayson, and that ties the game here in the bottom of the 6th. That'll bring up to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far here today is 2 for 3, a solo homer in the first, grounded out in the third, and singled in inning number 5. Brockett has his sign. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss by Rodriguez. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things third baseman. Tie game here after the home run by Chris Grayson. Brockett looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. This one line fouled on the right field line. That'll get back behind the Wild Things bullpen. And the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 6th. The run in as the Wild Things have tied this game at 4. Brockett looks in. Has his sign. He's set. The 0-2. And that one's a called strike 3 at the letters. Ricky Rodriguez strikes out, and that ends the inning. However, the Wild Things do get a run in the inning on the solo home run by Chris Grayson. That was the only hit. No errors and nobody left on base. After 6 innings of play, the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4. You're listening to Washington Wild Things Baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently all tied up at 4 as we enter this top of the 7th inning. Devin Davis back in for his first full inning of relief for the Washington Wild Things. Last inning for Traverse City, they would add 2 in the inning as Gabby Warby was hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. This was against Colin Stanley. Jeff Debut would then hit an RBI triple. Warby came around to score, and that would tie the game at 3. Next batter, Marcus Dirks. He'd hit an RBI single before Casey Rodriguez sacrifice bunt moved him to second. And Jose Vargas hit no fielder's choice. Traverse City had a 4-3 lead, and that would be it for Colin Stanley. Devin Davis came into the game and got Will Kendra to ground out, the only batter he faced. Final line on Stanley. Stanley went 2/3 of an inning, giving up 2 runs, both earned on 2 hits. Did not walk a man and did not strike anybody out. Due up here in the top of the 7th, leading things off against Devin Davis is the second baseman, Steven Patterson. Patterson so far, 2 for 3, popped out in the first, RBI double in the third, and a single in inning number 5. First pitch, and that one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. Davis is 1-0. That one's outside as well, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Devin Davis, a very fast worker on the mound for the Wild Things, has his sign, the 2-0. And this one swung on and missed. That one at the letters, and the count's of 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 on the second baseman for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Lefty on lefty matchup. Devin Davis facing off against Steven Patterson. Davis is 2-1. This one's outside for a ball, and the count now going to 3 balls and 1 strike. Devin Davis falling behind the first batter he faces here in the top of the 7th. Here's the 3-1, and that one's high ball 4, so it's a leadoff walk. Steven Patterson reaches base for the Traverse City Beach Bums. There's a runner at first with nobody out, and it brings up the designated hitter, Elijah Trail. Trail so far 0 for 2. Struck out in the second, walked in the third, and struck out in inning number 5. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Game 2 will start approximately a half hour after this one concludes. The pitch, Trail showing bunt, but will pull back and take this one inside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball and no strikes. The starter tonight, Luke Wilkins, going 5 and giving up 2 in the outing. Colin Stanley then 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 2 runs. The 1-0, and that one's high for a ball. Count now going to 2 balls and no strikes. Devin Davis having trouble finding the plate here early on for the Wild Things in this 7th inning. Steve Solkoski going to go out and talk to him. Solkoski, the backup catcher for the Washington Wild Things, getting his 4th start as a Wild Thing here today. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out. Here in the top of the 7th, 4-4 the score. We all tied here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Only a 7-inning game, so if the Wild Things can keep this score tied, they'll be looking for a walk-off in the bottom half. The 2-0, that one swung on a miss by Elijah Trail. Count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1, nobody out here in the top of the 7th. Davis looks in, has his sign, he's set. Here's the 2-1. Trail showing bunt, and he doesn't pull back in time. That evens up the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trail thought he pulled it back, but he did not, according to Brian Miller behind the plate. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Devin Davis looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2. Swing and a miss, and Elijah Trail strikes out. That's in time for out number 1. 1 man gone for the Beach Bums here in the 7th inning, and that brings to the plate the first baseman, Christian Santisteban. Santisteban so far in the day, 0 for 3. Struck out in the 2nd, grounded out in the 3rd, and struck out in inning number 5. 1 man out here in the top of the 7th, 4-4 the score between your Wild Things and the Beach Bums. Devin Davis looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks first, the pitch. And this one's just high above the letters for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Brian Miller behind the plate has not been given that high strike call here tonight, so as a pitcher, something you got to adjust to. Davis is 1-0, and this ball lines softly towards second. Grant Fink charges, he'll glove, and flips to his only play at first. That's in time for out number 2. So now 2 away for the Beach Bums here in the top of the 7th. They have a runner at second as Steven Patterson moved up there on that ground ball. That'll bring to the plate the catcher, Gabby Warby. Warby so far in the day is 2 for 2, 2 singles on the day, and was also hit by a pitch last inning. 2 men out here on the top of the 7th, 4-4 the score. Devin Davis looking for a scoreless 7th inning. Davis has his sign, he's set, the pitch. And that one's in there for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Beach Bums catcher, batting from the right side against the left-hander Davis. Davis looking in, wants to go through the signs again, has one he likes, he's set. Checks second, and the 0-1. This one's low for a ball, and that'll even up the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, 2 men out here in this top of the 7th, 4-4 the score. Davis has his sign. Checks second, the 1-1. And this one's just low for a ball. Count going to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2-1 the count. The Wild Things mascot trying to pump up his team, jumping on the dugout out there. Davis has his sign. Here's the 2-1. That one's low for a ball, and the count now goes to 3 balls and a strike. 3-1, 2 men out here in the top of the 7th, 4-4 the score. Devin Davis looks into Solkoski, has his sign, he's set. The 3-1. Low ball 4, so it's a 2-out walk, and now there are runners at first and second for the Beach Bums. Second walk of the day for Devin Davis, and that'll bring to the plate the right fielder, Jeff Debu. Debu so far is 2 for 3, reached on an error his first time, singled in the 4th, and had that RBI triple that tied the game in the top half of the 6th. 4-4 the score. Davis has his sign, checks second, the pitch. That one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count. Devin Davis in his first year with the Washington Wild Things has his sign, he's set, checks second, the 1-0. That one's low for a ball, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. Davis uncharacteristically wild here in this one, and now manager Greg Langman going to come out of the Wild Things dugout to have a talk with his left-hander. He's also serves as the pitching coach on this Wild Things team, as we talked about earlier in this ball game. Devin Davis only has 11 walks in 36 innings so far this year. Tonight, 2 walks in 1 full inning of work right now. Got the last out of the top half of the 6th as he got Will Kendra to ground out, then walked the leadoff man here in this inning before Elijah Trail struck out. Christian Santisteban would ground out, and Gabby Warby would walk. He's at first base. Now there's runners at first and second, 2 men out, and currently behind 2-0 here on Jeff Debu. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 men out. 4-4 the score between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Devin Davis looking into Solkoski, going through his signs. Has one he likes, he's set, and the 2-0. This one fouled off the mask of Solkoski, and the count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Davis and I were talking at breakfast over the last road trip. He actually learned how to pitch this fast as he does from his single-A pitching coach down in Arizona. Here's the 2-1. And that one's high for a ball. Count now going to 3 balls and a strike. And Devin Davis in danger of walking the bases loaded here in the top of the 7th. Davis looks into Solkoski, has his sign, he's set. And the 3-1. This one fouled off back into the seats, and that'll fill the count up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2, 2 men out. The on-deck man is Marcus Dirks if Jeff Debut should reach base. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Davis has his sign, he's set. Here's the offering. Swinging a foul ball back into the stands. Count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 here on Jeff Debut, the number 9 hitter in the Traverse City Beach Bums order. Batting from the left side against the lefty Devin Davis. The runner at second, Steven Patterson. Over at first is Gabby Warby. Davis is 3-2, and this one hitting the foul territory. That'll go back into the seats as well, and the count remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Both Warby and Patterson each ran with the last pitch, so they'll have to go back to their respective bases. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Davis looking in, has his sign, he's set, and time is called, as stepping out is Jeff Debut. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. Davis looks in, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, and the 3-2. A called strike 3. Jeff Debut strikes out, and the inning is over. It wasn't easy, but Dynamite Davis does it again. No runs in the inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums. No hits, no errors, and 2 left on after the 2 walks. Going to the bottom of the 7th, Wild Things looking for a walk-off winner. This ball game tied at 4 apiece. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 7th, and the score. Your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4, as the Wild Things look for a walk-off winner here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. New pitcher on for the Traverse City Beach Bums, as it's right-hander Luke Barker. Barker so far on the year, record of 1-4, 5 saves, a 1.57 ERA. Appearing in his 39th game, has thrown 57 1/3 innings of work, giving up 11 runs, 10 of those earned, on 38 hits, walking 10, and striking out 77 on the year. Final line for the reliever, Andrew Brockett. Brockett goes 1 1/3, gives up 1 run. It was earned on 1 hit, did not walk a man, and struck out 1 in the ball game. Due up to face Barker here in the bottom of the 7th. Dave Popkins, Jimmy Yezzo, and Alvaro Gonzalez, 4, 5, and 6. Wild Things looking for a walk-off winner here in this 7th inning game. Game 2 of this doubleheader going to start a half hour after the conclusion of this ball game. That one, Matt Snyder for the Wild Things takes on Kramer Champlin of the Traverse City Beach Bums. So keep it tuned right here to the MSA Sports Network after this one here tonight. Dave Popkins stepping in to lead things off. Popkins still no official at-bat in this ball game. He has walked in each of his first 3 at-bats here today, looking to come through against Luke Barker here in the bottom of the 7th. Popkins leads the team with 13 homers and 43 RBIs. Barker has his sign, he's set. Here's the pitch. And a swing and a miss by Popkins. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. High fastball. And Popkins, a big swing and a miss there. He wanted that one. If he had connected, this game might be over. Barker looks in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 0-1. And that one's up and above the letters this time. Count evens out at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1, nobody out. Popkins batting from the left side. The switch hitter for the Wild Things, batting left against the righty Luke Barker. Barker 1-4 on the year, but that very low 1.57 ERA has his sign, the 1-1. And Popkins a swing and a miss at a ball in the dirt. Count now going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Luke Barker, the third pitcher used by the Traverse City Beach Bums here today. Augie Gallardo would start things off. Then Andrew Brockett came in, and now Barker on the mound. Has his sign, he's set, and the 1-2. Popkins pops this one up. Center field. Will Kendra going out, now just back onto the infield, and he'll make the catch, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for the Wild Things here in the bottom of the 7th, and that brings to the plate the first baseman, Jimmy Yezzo. Yezzo so far 1 for 2, walked in the first, lined out in the third, and would single in inning number 5. For Luke Barker, in his first year with the Traverse City Beach Bums, played for the Washington Blue Sox in the winter of 2016, had a .393 ERA, and pitched for the Palm Springs Power in the playoffs in 2016 for that winter league. Here's the pitch, and a big swing and a miss by Yezzo on a pitch on the inside corner. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Yezzo's the guy second on this team in home runs. He has 12. Luke Barker looking into Gabby Warby, going through the signs. Barker has one he likes, he's set, and the 0-1. And Yezzo, a ground ball to the right side. Patterson will handle it on a hop, throws to first, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things in the bottom of the 7th, and that brings to the plate the designated hitter, Alvaro Gonzalez. Gonzalez so far 0 for 3 in this one. Popped out in the first, struck out in the third, and popped out, was robbed by Jose Vargas in inning number 5. Vargas made a running over-the-shoulder basket catch. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, 4-4 the score. Barker has his sign, he's set, and the pitch on the way. And Gonzalez following this one back to the seats behind home plate, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on Alvaro Gonzalez. His first professional season in professional baseball, played for the University of New Mexico Highlands prior to joining the Wild Things. Barker has his sign, he's set. Here's the 0-1. And a big swing and a miss there by Gonzalez on a high fastball. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, 2 men out. Luke Barker trying for a 1-2-3 inning. Action in the Wild Things bullpen as Andrew Wicks warming up out there. Barker has his sign, he's set. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a foul ball off the mask of Gabby Warby. Count remains no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, 2 men out, bottom of the 7th. 4-4 the score between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Wild Things trying to avoid extra innings here in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Barker looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 offering. Time is called right before he throws that pitch. Alvaro Gonzalez calling time at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Righty on righty matchup. 4-4 the score. Luke Barker looking in. Barker going through the signs. Has one he likes. He's set. And the 0-2 offering. And that one's just outside for a ball. Gonzalez wisely laying off. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 7th. 4-4 the score. Wild Things looking for a walk-off winner. Barker has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2 offering. Swing and a miss. Gonzalez strikes out, and that will end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 7th, and we're going to extra innings here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. The score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. PALCS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. PALCS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to PALCS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same old's true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get to sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to extras here in Game 1 of this doubleheader as we are in the top of the 8th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4. New pitcher on for the Washington Wild Things as it's right-hander Andrew Wick. Wick so far in the season, 2-1, 4 saves, a 3.75 ERA, appearing in his 31st game, has thrown 36 innings of work, giving up 20 runs, 15 of those earned, on 24 hits, 35 strikeouts, and 15 walks on the season for Andrew Wick. Top of the 8th, nobody out, extra innings. Wild Things are 1-1 in extra inning games this season. They have 2 walk-off wins, one of those walk-offs coming in the bottom of the 9th, and the other coming in the 11th inning here at Consol Energy Park. Extra innings here in this 7th inning game. Top of the 8th, due up to face Andrew Wick for the Traverse City Beach Bums. 1, 2, 3, Marcus Dirks, Casey Rodriguez, and Jose Vargas. Marcus Dirks going to lead things off here in the top of the 8th. Dirks so far on the day is 2 for 4, 2 singles, also drove in a run, and has struck out twice here in the ball game. Nobody out. Top of the 8th, 4-4 the score between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums here in extra innings. Wild Things has not been in extra innings a lot this season. Only 2 extra inning games played on the season. One was in the first home game of the year against the Lake Erie Crushers. The other was in Schaumburg against the Schaumburg Boomers. Wick has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. And that one's outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Andrew Wick, in his first year with the Washington Wild Things, pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays organization in rookie ball a year ago. Wick looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 1-0. And that one's on the outside corner for a strike. Count evens up at 1 ball, 1 strike. Andrew Wick has been very good out of the bullpen, has not given up an earned run in a ball game since July 27th against the Normal Corn Belters. Wick looking in, going through the signs, has one he likes, he's set. Holds at the belt, keeps holding, and the 1-1 on the way. Dirks shows bunt, fouls this one off to the left towards the Beach Bums dugout, and the count now going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wick, 35 strikeouts in 36 innings of work, so averaging just under 1 strikeout an inning here on the season so far. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Stay tuned because Game 2 is coming up a half hour after we conclude Game 1 here at Consol Energy Park. Andrew Wick looking into his catcher, Steve Solkoski. Wick has his sign. He's set. And the 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Dirk strikes out. That's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th. 1 up, 1 down for the Beach Bums. And that'll bring to the plate the left fielder, Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far is 1 for 3. Doubled in the first, struck out in the third, flew out in the fourth, and hit a sacrifice bunt in inning number 6. 1 man out here in the top of the 8th. Andrew Wick on for the Washington Wild Things. Wick and Devin Davis has been splitting the closer's role ever since Zach Groats was picked up by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Wick has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. This one lined right at Ricky Rodriguez. A very nice catch over there, and that's in time for out number 2. 2 up, 2 down. Rodriguez leaving his feet a little bit on that one, but makes the catch pretty easily for out number 2. That brings to the plate the third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas so far 0 for 4. Struck out in the first and the third, popped out in the fourth, and reached on a fielder's choice in inning number 6. 2 men out here in the top of the 8th. 4-4 the score. Wick looking into Solkoski. Has his sign. He's set, and the pitch on the way. That one's low for a ball, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Beach Bums third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas leads the team with 13 homers on the year. Wick going through the signs with Solkoski. Has one he likes, he's set, and the 1-0 offering. And Vargas takes this one low for a ball. Count now at 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Andrew Wick last picked up a save on August 18th at these Traverse City Beach Bums. That was last Thursday night. Wick looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 2-0 offering. This one hit towards right center field. Dave Popkins and Chris Grayson giving chase. Back to the track, to the wall, and this one will bounce off the wall. Grayson's throw in is cut off. Jose Vargas is going to be in there with a 2-out double. So with 2 men out here in the top of the 8th, the Beach Bums have a runner in scoring position now. That brings up their shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far in this game is 1 for 4. Flew out in the first, RBI double in the third, struck out in the fifth, and grounded out in inning number 6. 2 men out, top of the 8th, extra innings here in game 1 of this doubleheader between your Washington Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Jose Vargas just doubled with 2 men out. He's on second, takes his lead over there. Wick has his sign. He's set in the pitch. That one's high for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the Beach Bums shortstop. 2 men out in this top of the 8th inning. 4-4 the score. Andrew Wick looks in. Wick going through the signs with Sokoski. Has one he likes, he's set. And the 1-0. This ball popped up. Shallow left field. Rodriguez and Wobrock giving chase towards the Beach Bums bullpen, and they'll run out of room as this one falls in the lawn area behind Traverse City's bullpen. Count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Rodriguez, Wobrock, and Heck all giving chase on that one, all running into the wall. They're all okay as they go back to their positions. Andrew Wick waits for them to get there. Wild Things defense in a mini shift off to the right side. Grant Fink playing out in shallow right field and a little bit towards first base. The left side of the infielders are staying on their normal positions, and Yezo playing behind the first base bag. Wick has his sign, the 1-1, and this one in the dirt. Nice block there by Solkoski to keep Vargas right where he is at second, and the count goes to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 here on the shortstop, Will Kenger. Top of the 8th, extra innings here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Wick looking in to Steve Solkoski. Vargas takes his lead from second. Wick has his sign, checks Vargas out there, and the 2-1. This one swung on and missed, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 men out here in the top of the 8th, 4-4 the score. Andrew Wick trying to get through a scoreless 8th inning here in this one. 4th pitcher used on the day by the Wild Things. Luke Wilkins started it. Colin Stanley then came in, and Devin Davis came in for the last inning and a third. Wick has his sign. He's set, and the 2-2. And that one's low for a ball. Count fills up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 the count here on Will Kenger. 2 men out in this top of the 8th inning. Andrew Wick trying to make it a scoreless one for the Washington Wild Things. Wick looks into Sokoski. Going through the signs. Kenger, the left-handed batter, facing off against Wick, the right-handed pitcher. Wick has his sign. Checks second, and the 3-2. And a swing and a foul ball, and actually it's dropped by Solkoski, and Solkoski's not going to get to it in time, so it's a strikeout for Andrew Wick, but another pass ball on Steve Solkoski. That'll let Jose Vargas get to third, and now Will Kenger at first, so Wick going to have to essentially get 4 outs now here in this inning, and that'll bring to the plate the second baseman, Steven Patterson. Patterson so far is 2 for 3, popped out in the first, doubled in the third, singled in the 5th, and walked in inning number 7. 2 men out. Manager Greg Langman coming to the mound once more, this time to talk to Andrew Wick. No action in the Wild Things bullpen, as Wick technically got that last out on the strikeout of Will Kenger. It was his second strikeout of the day. However, Steve Solkoski gets the pass ball as that one gets by him to the Traverse City dugout. Runners are at first and third for Traverse City. 2 men out here in this top of the 8th inning. Extra innings here in game 1 of this doubleheader, as we're in for a late night here at Consol Energy Park. Game 2 of the doubleheader still to come. That'll be played a half hour following the conclusion of this game 1. That meeting on the mound has concluded. Manager Greg Langbang going back to his Wild Things dugout. Andrew Wick stepping back on the mound. 2 men out, top of the 8th, 4-4 the score between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Jose Vargas, the runner at third. Will Kenger over there at first. Wick looking in. Steven Patterson at the plate. Wick has his sign. He's set. And the pitch on the way. That one's outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count on the Traverse City Beach Bums second baseman. No action in the Wild Things bullpen, as we said. Andrew Wick looks in. Going through the signs. Checks first. Has one he likes. He's set. And the 1-0 offering. This one swung on a miss, and the count goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Steven Patterson. Andrew Wick looking for the last out here in this 8th inning. Wick looks into Solkoski. Vargas and Kenger take their leads. Wick has his sign, and the 1-1. That one taken low for a ball. Count now going to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1, 2 men out. Andrew Wick got the first 2 outs in this inning rather quickly, striking out Marcus Dirks and getting Casey Rodriguez the line out, but has since Gave the 2-out double to Jose Vargas. Struck out Will Kendra. However, a pass ball allowed him to reach first. Wick has his sign. Here's the 2-1. And this one's just outside for a ball. Count now going to 3 balls and a strike here on Steven Patterson. 3-1 the count. 2 men out. Top of the 8th. Andrew Wick trying to get Patterson out and get the Wild Things back to the bat racks in the bottom of the 8th. Wick has his sign. Checks the runner at first. And the 3-1. And that's a called strike on the outside corner. Count fills up at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Brian Miller behind the plate saying that ball just did get the outside corner. Jose Vargas at third. He doubled with 2 outs. Will Kendra at first. He struck out but reached base on the pass ball. Wick has his sign. He's set. Here's the 3-2. Swing and a pop-up. Shallow center field. Austin Wobrock going out. Heck coming in. Heck will call him off, and he makes the catch, and that's in time for out number 3. No runs in the inning for the Traverse City Beach Bones. 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Going to the bottom of the 8th in the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bones 4. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass is installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball. Currently in the bottom of the 8th, extra innings in Game 1 of this doubleheader, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bones 4. Last inning for the Wild Things, they would go 1-2-3. Dave Popkins popped out, Jimmy Yezzo grounded out, and then Alvaro Gonzalez struck out to end the inning against Luke Barker. Barker out there for his second inning of work, due up here in the bottom of the 8th for the Wild Things. Grant Fink, Steve Solkoski, and Austin Wobrock, 7, 8, and 9. Facing off against the right-hander Barker. Grant Fink making his way to the plate right now. Fink so far in the day is 1 for 3. Struck out in the second, flew out in the 4th, and hit a 2 RBI double in inning number 5. Nobody out, bottom of the 8th. Extra innings here. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Wild Things looking for a walk-off winner. Luke Barker looking into his catcher, Gabby Warby. Barker going through the signs. Has one he likes. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And Fink hits this one to shallow center. Marcus Dirks coming in on it a couple of steps. He's going to make the catch, and that's in time for out number 1. 1 up, 1 down for your Wild Things here in the bottom of the 8th, and that brings to the plate the catcher, Steve Solkoski. Solkoski so far in the day 0 for 3. Struck out in the second, grounded out in the 4th, and grounded out in inning number 5. 1 man out here in this bottom of the 8th inning. Solkoski to the plate, only has 1 hit in his Wild Things career, trying to get on here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Extra innings, Game 1 of this doubleheader. 4-4 the score. Luke Barker looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And this one's low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Steve Solkoski. Solkoski, the backup catcher, Justin Garcia at the plate, is pinch hitting for Steve Solkoski. So Garcia, 1 ball and no strikes. Looking in, here's the pitch. And that one's a called strike, and the count 1-1. Justin Garcia, the pinch hitter for Steve Solkoski. Garcia so far in the year, 136, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. Batting left-handed against the right-hander Luke Barker, so Solkoski's day is done. Solkoski ends going 0 for 3. Barker's 1-1. This one swung on and missed by Garcia, and count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count. Wild Things signed activated John Fidanza off of the disabled list today, so they do have a third catcher on the roster. Fidanza started the year on the suspended list, was then moved to the DL, and now on the active roster. Here's Barker's 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Garcia strikes out, and that's out number 2. 2 up, 2 down for the Wild Things here in this bottom of the 8th, and that brings to the plate the shortstop, Austin Wobrock. Wobrock so far in this one is 2 for 3, doubled in the second, singled in the 4th, and grounded out in inning number 6. 2 men out here in this bottom of the 8th inning. 4-4 the score. between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Washington trying to pick up their second extra innings win. They are 1-1 in extra innings on the year. Luke Barker looking in, has his sign, he's set, and the first pitch to Wobrock. This one lined up the middle, broken bat, but the ball be handled by Kendra, throws on to first, and that's in time for out number 3. 1-2-3 go the Wild Things here in the 8th. On to the 9th, another extra inning, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the top of the 9th, and the score, your Washington Wild Things 4, Traverse City Beach Bums 4. Extra innings here at Consol Energy Park. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Andrew Wick in for his second inning of relief for the Wild Things. New catcher on as Kyle Pollock takes over behind the plate for the Wild Things. Justin Garcia pinch hit for Steve Solkoski, so Solkoski's day is done. Last inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums against Wick. Marcus Dirks would strike out to lead things off. Casey Rodriguez would then line out before Jose Vargas doubled with 2 men away. Will Kendra would then strike out, but he would reach first on a pass ball, and Steven Patterson would fly out to end the inning. Due up here in the 9th, Elijah Trail, Christian Santistaban, and Gabby Warby, the 6, 7, and 8 hitters for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Nobody out, top of the 9th, second extra inning here for your Wild Things as they face off against the Traverse City Beach Bums. Andrew Wick, as we said, in his first year with the Washington Wild Things, pitched in the Tampa Bay Rays Rookie League last season. Now, looking at the Wild Things' available pitchers, Wick's the 4th man they've used. In the bullpen, they have Brandon Bixler, Brian O'Keefe, Ashton Parrott left out there. They do have some starters on reserve. Matt Snyder starting game 2, so he's not available. Matt Frauden starting yesterday, he's not available. So the other options you have right now are Christian Powell and Chase Cunningham. However, Cunningham is supposed to start tomorrow, so Christian Powell is really the only option you got. So you have 4 pitchers left in the bullpen for the Wild Things to use. Parrott, a long reliever. Christian Powell can go a while, and so can Brandon Bixler. So not really in trouble pitching-wise, but something you got to keep aware of when you're here in extra innings. Stepping in to lead things off in the top of the 9th is the designated hitter, Elijah Trail. Trail so far on the day is 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts and a walk to this point. Here in the top of the 9th, extra innings, game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Trail stepping in, batting from the right side against the right-hander Andrew Wick. Wick looks in, going through the signs, has one he likes, he's set. The courtesy runner at second is Steven Patterson. Here's the pitch. And this ball popped up foul off to the right and back into the stands. Count goes to no balls and a strike here on Elijah Trail. When you're in your second extra inning here in the Frontier League, you get a courtesy runner. It's the guy who made the last out in the last inning. So Steven Patterson is the courtesy runner. He is out at second base. Oh, no balls, 1 strike here on Elijah Trail. Wick has his sign, checks Patterson at second, and the 0-1. This one grounded to the right side and foul past the Wild Things dugout. Count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 the count, and if you're Andrew Wick, you would love to strand that runner at second base. That is a key here in extra innings. If you can strand that runner out there, you give your team a very good chance to come through in the bottom half of the inning. Wick looking into Kyle Pollock, has his sign, he's set. Checks second, and the 0-2 offering. Swinging a foul ball back to the screen. Count stays at no balls and 2 strikes. Andrew Wick fielding that one as it went off the concrete barrier back behind home plate and right back out to the mound. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Steven Patterson, the courtesy runner at second to start this inning. Wick looking into Kyle Pollock. Going through the signs. And now time is called as Elijah Trail will step out. 0-2, nobody out here in the top of the 9th. Second extra inning between the Wild Things and the Beach Bums. Elijah Trail over at second. Wick has his sign. Checks Patterson at second, the 0-2. This one lined at the middle, and that's a base hit. Elijah Trail is going to be held at third. It's a leadoff single for Elijah Trail. Stephen Patterson at third, and there's runners at first and third with nobody out here in the top of the ninth. That'll bring to the plate the first baseman, Christian Santisteban. Santisteban so far is 0 for 4, struck out in the second, grounded out in the third, struck out in the fifth, and grounded out in inning number 7. So Wick in trouble right away. Wild Things infield comes in here. 4-4 the score. Runners at first and third. Courtesy runner Stephen Patterson at third. And Elijah Trail single. He's at first. Wick looking in. Has his sign. He's set. Checks third. And the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss there by the pinch hitter now, Giancarlo Bergoni. And Bergoni is down. No balls and a strike here to Andrew Wick. So Giancarlo Bergoni coming in to pinch hit for Christian Santisteban. Bergoni so far on the year, hitting .194, 10 homers, and 25 RBIs. The 0-1, another big swing and a miss by Bergoni, and the count goes to 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. It would be a big strikeout if Andrew Wick's able to get it here. No balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. You want to keep this ball out of the air. Wick checks first, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 offering. Swing and a miss. Wick strikes him out, and that's in time for out number 1. A big out number 1 there as it keeps runners at first and third, still with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate Gabby Warby, the catcher. Warby so far in the day is 2 for 2, single in the second, single in the fourth, was hit by a pitch in the sixth, and walked in inning number 7. 1 man out, top of the ninth, 4-4 the score. Extra innings here between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Here's Wick's pitch, and this one lined to center field. Chris Grayson charges, has the ball. Tagging and scoring will be Stephen Patterson. He scores without a throw, so it's a sacrifice fly for Gabby Warby, and the Traverse City Beach Bums take the lead here in the top of the ninth as that courtesy runner scores. They lead 5-4 over your Wild Things. Holding tight at first is Elijah Trail, and that'll bring up the right fielder, Jeff Debut. Debut so far in the day is 2 for 4, reached on an error, singled, tripled, and struck out in the ball game. 2 men out, top of the ninth. A run in for the Traverse City Beach Bums. They lead 5-4. Wick has his sign, checks first. Here's the pitch. And a check swing there by W, but he went around, says Brian Miller behind the plate, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. There is action in the Traverse City Beach Bums bullpen. Is warming up out there is James Ball. Wick has his sign, checks the runner at first. Here's the 0-1. This one's low for a ball. Count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on the right fielder for the Traverse City Beach Bums, Jeff Debut. Righty on lefty matchup as Wick, the right-handed pitcher, facing off against Debut, the left-handed batter. Wick has his sign, he's set. And the 1-1. This one low for a ball, and the count now going to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count. Manager Greg Langman at the top step of the Wild Things dugout, motioning down to his bullpen for someone to get loose out there. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 men out. Wick on for his second inning of work for the Wild Things here. Top of the ninth, extra innings here in game 1. A run in as the courtesy runner, Stephen Patterson, has come around to score. Wick looking in, going through the signs. Checks first, has one he likes, he's set. And the 2-1 offering. This one swung on and missed, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2, 2 men out here in the top of the ninth. 5-4 Beach Bums lead as their courtesy runner came in. Elijah Trail, the runner at first with 2 men out. The key here in extra innings when you get to this point is you got to score 2. That courtesy runner is very easy to come in. It's very difficult to stop him from scoring. As the team gets a runner in scoring position initially, you can sack bunt him over and then have the sack fly and you're back tied. So the key is to score 2. Wick has his sign, he's set, and the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Wick strikes him out, and the inning is over. Beach Bums get a run in the inning on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Going to the bottom of the ninth, Wild Things down by 1, but they'll look for a walk-off as the score. Traverse City 5, your Washington Wild Things 4. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
How does a 120-year-old company like Henderson Brothers keep up in a world that changes every minute, that keeps throwing curveballs, that flaunts new technology, that demands responsiveness? The answer is simple. With expertise. We insure the most successful corporations in the area, and they in turn recommend us. And for that, we're grateful. Henderson Brothers. Expect an expert.
Hi, this is Hines Ward. If you're a high school sports fan, the place to go all year round is the MSA Sports Network. Log on every day to www.msasports.net for the schedules, the scores, the standings, the rankings, and of course, all of the broadcasts includes exclusive Whitfield playoffs and championship action. Anytime, anywhere, always there, the MSA Sports Network.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the ninth, and the score, Traverse City 5 and your Washington Wild Things 4. Traverse City getting a run at the top of the ninth inning here in extra innings. James Ball comes on for the Beach Bums now. New pitcher, enters with a record of 2-3, a 3.30 ERA, appearing in his 35th game. Has thrown 46 and a third innings of work, and we have 22 runs, 17 of those earned on 47 hits, has walked 12, and has struck out 29 on the season. Here in the top of the ninth, the Wild Things will get a courtesy runner as Austin Wolbrock made the last out of the bottom half of the eighth, so Wolbrock will be out at second base to start the inning. Due up here in the inning for the Wild Things, Andrew Heck, Chris Grayson, and Ricky Rodriguez, the 1-2-3 hitters, as the Wild Things try for two here in the bottom of the ninth and go for a walk-off winner. The Wild Things do have two walk-off wins on the year, a walk-off hit by pitch from Jamondrick Magruder, and a walk-off double for Ricky Rodriguez back in the first home game of the year. Stepping in to lead things off here in the bottom of the ninth is the left fielder, Andrew Heck. Heck so far on the day is, 1 for 4. Flew out in the first, single in the second, flew out in the fourth, and flew out in inning number 6. James Ball, the new pitcher for the Traverse City Beach Bums here, the lefty, as they'll try to keep the Wild Things off the scoreboard and secure the win for the Beach Bums. Wild Things courtesy runner out at second is Austin Wolbrock. If that run scores, it is not earned to the opposing pitcher. Heck in, James Ball, the righty, looking in. Ball going through his signs with Warby. Has one he likes, he's set, and the pitch on the way. Heck showing bunt, gets this one down. Ball off the mound to field. He'll throw to first, and it's not in time. Andrew Heck reaching on the bunt single. A leadoff single for Andrew Heck, and that'll put runners at first and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the ninth, right where you want to be if you're the Wild Things. And Heck, a speedster over there at first base. 6 steals and 6 chances this year. So we'll see if he's in motion. That'll bring to the plate the Week 15 Player of the Week in Chris Grayson. Grayson so far today, 1 for 3, popped out in the first, walked in the third, popped out in the fifth, and hit that solo home run back in inning number 6. Nobody out, bottom of the ninth, 5-4 Beach Bums lead. However, the Wild Things do have that courtesy runner at third, and Andrew Heck is over at first. Wolbrock, the courtesy runner, at third base. James Ball looking in, going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set, and the pitch on the way. Grayson takes this one outside for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on the center fielder for the Washington Wild Things. Chris Grayson standing in for the Wild Things at 6 foot 215 from Monroe, Louisiana. Played for the Sioux Falls Canaries earlier this year. Wolbrock and Heck take their leads. Heck 6 steals and 6 chances over there at first base. Ball has his sign. He's set, the 1-0. That one's outside for a ball as well, and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count here on Chris Grayson. A lefty up and throwing in the Wild Things bullpen. Ball looks in. Has his sign, he's set. The 2-0. Grayson takes this one high and outside for a ball. Count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Right now, James Ball in danger of walking the bases loaded here in the bottom of the ninth. 5-4 the score. We're in extra innings. Game 1 of this doubleheader. James Ball looking in. Has his sign, he's set. Checks third, the 3-0. Swing and a miss, and the count goes to 3-1 on a high fastball. Big cut there by Chris Grayson, but he couldn't connect on that one. 3 balls, 1 strike, and nobody out. Austin Wolbrock at third. Andrew Heck, the runner at first. James Ball looking in. Ball checks his runner at first. Has his sign, he's set. The 3-1. Called strike on the outside corner. That fills the count up at 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. And just like we talked for with Andrew Wick, this would be a big out number 1 if Ball can get it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Ball has his sign, holds at the belt, checks first, the 3-2. Called strike 3, and Chris Grayson strikes out. Well, actually, they got James Ball for a box, so Woodbrook will come in to score, and now this game is tied at 5. Manager Dan Rowe not happy about that one. They get James Ball for the walk. That puts a runner at second now with nobody out, and that is huge for the Washington Wild Things. Dan Rowe pleading his case with home plate umpire Brian Miller. James Ball not happy about that one at all. 5-5 the score. Rowan really pleading his case out there, and the count remains 3-2 on Grayson. They get James Ball for the balk, and that really sets things up for the Wild Things now. There's a runner at second with nobody out in this bottom of the 9th inning, and that is huge for Washington as Grayson has a chance to drive him in now. Dan Rowan has finished pleading his case. He'll go back to the Beach Bums dugout. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out, and Grayson at the plate. Grayson, the Week 15 Player of the Week. Wild Things get a runner at second, nobody out after the ball balk. And now a big opportunity for Grayson to come through. Has 17 RBIs on the year after that solo home run back in the 6th inning. Andrew Heck out there takes his lead at second. James Ball looking into Gabby Warby behind the plate. Ball going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. And the 3-2. Swinging a foul ball by Grayson. He'll stay alive as that goes to the Wild Things on deck circle. 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Full count here on Grayson. Ricky Rodriguez is the on-deck man. Rodriguez does have 1 walk-off hit this season. Looking in is James Ball. Ball going through the signs. Shakes off the first one. Has one he likes. He's set. Checks second. Here's the 3-2. And this one hammered to right field, but it's hooking and will go foul. Chris Grayson got all of that baseball, but unfortunately for him, it hooks to the right and goes foul. He'll stay alive as he lives to fight another day. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 9th. Wild Things have a runner at second. This game all tied at 5. Ball looking in. Going through the signs. Has one he likes. He's set. Checks second. Here's the 3-2. Outside ball 4, walk to Chris Grayson, and there are now runners at first and second for the Wild Things with still nobody out here in this bottom of the 9th inning. That brings to the plate the third baseman, Ricky Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far 2 for 4, a solo home run in the first, grounded out in the third, singled in the 5th, and struck out in inning number 6. Rodriguez has provided a walk-off hit already on the year, a walk-off RBI double, and that was in the home opener for the Washington Wild Things. Andrew Heck has speed at second, so a single should do it here for Rodriguez. Ball has his sign. Here's the pitch. Rodriguez grounded to short. Kendra has it to second for 1. On to first, and that's in time for the double play. 6-4-3, and that just cleaned up the inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums. There's a runner at third now with 2 outs for your Washington Wild Things, but Dave Popkins coming to the plate. Popkins so far today 0 for 1, has walked 3 times in this ball game and has also popped out in the game. Bottom of the 9th, 2 men out. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. Popkins trying to come through and end it right now. Ball has his sign. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss by Popkins and a ball in the dirt, and the count goes to 0-1. No balls and a strike. James Ball trying to get out of disaster here in this inning. Had a runner at second with nobody out after a run already came in, but so far has kept him from scoring to this point. No balls and a strike. Ball has his sign. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss, and the count now going to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 here on Dave Popkins. 2 men out, bottom of the 9th. 5-5 the score. We're in the second extra inning here in this doubleheader. James Ball looking into Warby, going through the signs. Has one he likes, he's set. Checks the runner at third. Here's the 0-2. Swinging a foul ball off the ankle of Dave Popkins. He's going to have to walk that one off and step in again against James Ball. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out. 5-5 the score between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. James Ball, the lefty on the mound for the Beach Bums, facing off against the switch hitter, or righty on the mound ball, facing off against the switch hitter Dave Popkins. Popkins batting from the left side. Heck takes his lead from third. Ball looks in. No balls, 2 strikes. Has his sign, he's set. Here's the pitch. Outside for a ball. Count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes in the Wild Things right fielder. We're all tied at 5 here in the bottom of the ninth. Ball looks in. Has his sign. He's set. The 1-2. Swing and a fly ball to right. Going back on it is Debut towards the wall, and he will make the sliding catch in foul territory, and that is out number 3. A very nice catch there by Jeff Debut, and that ends the inning. But the Wild Things do get a run in the inning on the RBI single by Andrew Heck. That's the only run that comes into score, however, on just 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Going to the top of the 10th here in game 1 of this doubleheader. The score, your Washington Wild Things 5, Traverse City Beach Bums 5. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball right here on the MSA Sports Network.
Enjoy shopping and dining at one of Ohio Valley Mall's 100 merchants, including Boscov's, MC Sports, Hibbett Sports, Pat Catan's, Christopher & Banks, Men's Warehouse, and many more. Check out the new Buckle Store. And coming soon, Buffalo Wild Wings. If the little ones need a break, head to the Kids Zone, sponsored by Ohio Valley Medical Center and East Ohio Regional Hospital, your community hospitals.
PA Leadership Charter School is a proud sponsor of the Washington Wild Things. POGS is a tuition-free online public school for K-12 students. POGS can help your child hit a home run in their education through flexibility, student-to-teacher interaction, and socialization opportunities. Go to POGS.org for more information. Go Wild Things!
PA Leadership Charter School. Lead, don't follow.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, currently going to the top of the 10th here in game 1 of this doubleheader. And the score, your Washington Wild Things 5, Traverse City Beach Bums 5. On the mound for the Wild Things now is left-hander Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe so far in the year, a record of 2-1, a 4.86 ERA, appearing in his 22nd game, has made 3 starts this year. Thrown 37 innings of work, and we have 22 runs, 20 earned on 38 hits, struck out 33, and walked 10 on the year. Courtesy runner going out on the bases for the Traverse City Beach Bums is Jeff Debut. Debut made the final out in the top of the 9th. Currently in the top of the 10th, third extra inning here in game 1 of this doubleheader, and that'll bring to the plate the center fielder Marcus Dirks. Dirks so far in the day is 2 for 5, 2 singles and 3 strikeouts on the day. He has reached base 3 times, one of those strikeouts reaching on a pass ball. Here's the pitch, and this one taken high by Dirks, and the count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. Want to know the count here on the Traverse City Beach Bums center fielder. Nobody out, still game 1 of this doubleheaders. We're approaching 9 o'clock on the East Coast. O'Keefe has his sign, the 1-0. That one's in outside for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and no strikes. 2-0 the count. Still have another game to play here today. A half hour after this game concludes, we'll have game 2 of this doubleheader for you. 2 balls, no strikes, nobody out. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set. Here's the 2-0 offering. This ball lined foul off to the left and back into the seats. Count going to 2 balls and a strike now. 2-1 the count. Nobody out. Still a pretty good crowd here as we're down to about a quarter full now here in game 1 of this doubleheader. 2 balls, 1 strike, nobody out. O'Keefe looks in, has his sign, he's set, checks second. Here's the 2-1. This ball lined up the middle, and that'll get down for a base hit. They're going to wave Debut to the plate. Here comes Chris Grayson's throw, and it's cut off. So in coming to score is that courtesy runner, Jeff Debut, and Traverse City gets the lead right away. It's an RBI single by Marcus Dirks. Traverse City now leads 6-5 here in the top of the 10th. RBI single there by Marcus Dirks, and that'll bring in the left fielder, Casey Rodriguez. Rodriguez so far is 1 for 4, doubled in the first, struck out in the third, flew out in the fourth, hit a sac bunt in the sixth, and lined out in inning number 8. Now 6-5 Beach Bums lead over your Wild Things. Ricky Rodriguez playing in on the grass at third base. O'Keefe has his sign, checks first. Here's the pitch. That one a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1 ball or no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count. Final line for Wick. Went 2 innings, gave up 1 run. That run was not earned as it was the courtesy runner in the 9th inning. Giving up 2 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts. The 0-1, that one in the dirt, blocked by Pollock behind the plate, and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 the count here on Casey Rodriguez, hitting from the left side against the lefty Brian O'Keefe. Runner at first, Marcus Dirks. Dirks leads the team with 14 stolen bases. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set, checks him, and the 1-1. That one's outside for a ball. Count now going to 2 balls and a strike. 2-1 the count here on Casey Rodriguez. Nobody out, top of the 10th. Game 1 of this doubleheader. Brian O'Keefe looking into Kyle Pollock with Casey Rodriguez batting from the left side, stepping in. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set. Checks first, and the 2-1. This one fouled off to the left-hand side and into the seats. Count goes even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. Nobody out. 6-5 Beach Bums lead. Brian O'Keefe in his first year with the Washington Wild Things. O'Keefe, the 5th pitcher used by the Washington Wild Things, is now all left out in the bullpen. Brandon Bixler and Ashton Parrott. Here's the 2-2. And this ball grounded up the middle. Diving stop by Fink. Flips to second, and they get the out there. What a play by Grant Fink. Fielder's choice, 4-3. Fink diving full out to his right. Made the flip to second base and got the out there. So there's a runner at first now with 1 man out, and that'll bring to the plate the third baseman, Jose Vargas. Vargas so far on the day is 1 for 5, struck out twice, popped out, hit into a fielder's choice, and doubled in the ball game. 1 man out, top of the 10th, 6-5 the score here. Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. 1 man out, runner at first, Casey Rodriguez. He'll take his lead out there. O'Keefe has his sign. Here's the pitch. Rodriguez takes off for second. Pitch low, the throw down, and it's not in time. Rodriguez will be in there with a stolen base. So now there's runner in scoring position with 1 man out for the Traverse City Beach Bums, and that's big because if you score 2 in extra innings, that gives you a big advantage in the bottom half of the inning, especially when you're on the road. For Casey Rodriguez, that is stolen base number 5 in game number 41 for him. O'Keefe has his sign, checks him the 1-0. This ball grounded to second. Grant Fink handles on a hop. He'll throw on to first, and that's in time for out number 2. Second out of the inning for the Traverse City Beach Bums. Rodriguez moves up to third, so there's now a runner at third with 2 men out, and it brings to the plate the shortstop, Will Kenger. Kenger so far 1 for 5, has had an RBI double, struck out twice, flew out, and grounded out in the ball game. 2 men out here in the top of the 10th, 6-5 the score between your Wild Things and the Beach Bums. Beach Bums lead this one. O'Keefe has his sign. He's set. Here's the pitch. This ball lined in right field. Grant Fink, a diving catch! What a play by Grant Fink, and that ends the inning. Fink sprawling out to his right and making a spectacular catch to end the inning. Just 1 run in the inning for the Beach Bums on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. Heading to the bottom of the 10th, your score. Traverse City 6, your Washington Wild Things 5. You're listening to Washington Wild Things baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
You just never know how your day is going to go. The same holds true at Penn Station East Coast Subs. For some unsuspecting spuds, they start their day as Idaho potatoes, only to be transformed into hand-hewn fries. Unlucky for them, good for you. However, both your days get better because the fries get a sidle up next to a perfectly grilled Philly cheesesteak. Then, on their way to their final resting place, they get bathed in citric nectar, our signature lemonade. Wherever your day takes you, we recommend Penn Station be one of the stops.
When looking to replace your athletic field, choose ProGrass, first in turf. ProGrass has installed over 500 fields in the U.S. Getting the best artificial turf for your field depends upon both the product and the partner you choose. That's why architects, athletic directors, and players choose the ProGrass Performance System. ProGrass maintains an active presence in the field turf industry as members of the Sports Turf Management Association and the American Sports Builder Association, and is proud to be recognized as a FIFA preferred manufacturer. Call ProGrass today at 866-270-6003 or visit them on the web at www.progressturf.com. ProGrass, first in turf.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network's coverage of Washington Wild Things baseball, going to the bottom of the 10th, and the score, Traverse City 6 and your Washington Wild Things 5. Wild Things courtesy runner over at second base is going to be Dave Popkins for this bottom of the 10th. Popkins made the last out in the bottom of the 9th. Due up here in the 10th to face off against James Ball, Jimmy Yezzo, Alvaro Gonzalez, and Grant Fink, 5, 6, and 7 against the reliever. James Ball got into trouble last night, but got away with only allowing the 1 run as Austin Wobrock was the courtesy runner. First man, Andrew Heck, a bunt single moved runners to first and third with nobody out. Then a balk brought in the first run of the game. Heck would move up to second with nobody out. It was 5-5. Chris Grayson would walk, then Ricky Rodriguez hit into a double play, and Popkins flew out to end the inning. Yezo stepping up to the plate right now. Yezo so far in the day, 1 for 3, walked in the first, lined out in the third, singled in the fifth, and grounded out in inning number 7. Fifth time through the lineup here for the Wild Things. Game 1 of this doubleheader between your Wild Things and the Traverse City Beach Bums. James Ball looking into his catcher, Gabby Warby. Ball going through the signs, has one he likes, he's set, checks second, here's the pitch. This one swung on and missed by Yezo, and the count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count here on the Wild Things first baseman. Bottom of the 10th, 6-5 Traverse City leads over your Wild Things. Dave Popkins takes his lead from second. 0-1 the count here on Yezo. Ball looks in. Has his sign, he's set. Checks Popkins, here's the 0-1. This one popped up foul back behind the plate. It'll get into the seats, and the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. 0-2 here on Jimmy Yezo. Nobody out. James Ball in for his second inning of relief here in this one. Ball is the 4th pitcher used by the Traverse City Beach Bums in this one. Augie Gallardo started the game. Then Andrew Brockett came in for an inning and a third. Luke Barker 2 innings. And now James Ball in for these last 2 innings. Ball looks in, has his sign, he's set, and the 0-2 offering. Swinging a ground ball to short. Will Kendra handles. He throws to third, and Dave Popkins in a rundown. Being chased by Vargas. Vargas back to Kendra. Kendra looking to make sure Yezo doesn't move up, and they tag out Dave Popkins. So Popkins is caught between second and third. That's the first out of the inning. It's a fielder's choice, 6-5-6 on the putout. And Jimmy Yezo at first base now with 1 man out, and that could be a problem for the Wild Things. That courtesy runner is thrown out. So the Wild Things lose the luxury of having that courtesy runner on base. Jimmy Yezo over at first now with 1 man out. And coming to the plate, Alvaro Gonzalez. Gonzalez so far 0 for 4. Pop out, 2 strikeouts, and another pop out in the game. James Ball looking into Gabby Warby, going through the signs. Ball checks first. Has a sign he wants. He's set. And the pitch on the way. And this one's low for a ball. Count goes to 1 ball, no strikes. 1-0 the count here on Alvaro Gonzalez. 1 man out, bottom of the 10th. 6-5, Traverse City leads over your Washington Wild Things. Wild Things trying to avoid falling below 500. They sit at 41-41 coming into today. Ball has his sign, he's set, the 1-0. This one fouled back behind home plate. Hits off the press box here at Consol Energy Park. And the count evens up at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. 1 man out here in the bottom of the 10th. 6-5 the score. Runner at first is Jimmy Yezo. He hitting a fielder's choice to start off this inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. James Ball looking in. Has his sign. He's set. And the 1-1. This one popped up. Foul territory to the right. Gabby Warby giving chase towards the Wild Things dugout. He's going to run out of room as that falls into the first row of seats. And the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Wild Thing mascot making the catch on that foul ball, showing it off proudly. As they say, it's a great play for the Wild Thing. Makes the catch on the pop-up. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 man out. 1-2, Alvaro Gonzalez at the plate. Wild Things trying to push a run across here in the bottom of the 10th. James Ball looking in. Ball going through the signs with Gabby Warby. Jimmy Yezo takes his lead from first. Yezo 1 steal on the year. Ball checks Yezo over there. Has his sign. He's set. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside for a ball. Count goes even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2-2 the count. The pitcher on the hook for this one right now would be Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe giving up that unearned run in the 10th inning. James Ball looks into Gabby Warby. Yezo takes his lead from first. Alvaro Gonzalez, the righty, facing off against the right-handed pitcher Ball. Ball checks first, has his sign, he's set. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Alvaro Gonzalez strikes out, and that's the second out here in the bottom of the 10th. 2 men out for the Wild Things now. Runner at first, and they're down to their last chance. As coming to the plate is the second baseman, Grant Fink. Fink so far 1 for 4. Struck out in the second, flew out in the fourth, 2 RBI double in the fifth, and a fly out in inning number 8. Came through in a big situation before with the bases loaded and 2 men out. See if he can come through here with a runner at first now and 2 outs. James Ball looking into Warby. Going through his signs. Checks first. Has one he likes. He's set. Here's the pitch. Fink takes this one on the inside corner for a strike. Count goes to no balls and a strike. 0-1 the count on the second baseman for the Wild Things. Grant Fink taking over the position after Jamadrick Magruder was cut earlier today. James Ball checks Yezo. He's set. Holds at the belt. The 0-1. That one's low for a ball. Count goes even to 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 the count. Fink has 8 home runs on the year. That's good for third on the team. His 19 RBIs now are currently good for fourth on the team behind Popkins, Yezo, and Rodriguez. Yezo takes his lead from first. James Ball checks him, has his sign, holds at the belt, and the 1-1. Swinging a ground ball foul off to the left towards the Traverse City dugout. Count going to 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out, 6-5. The Traverse City Beach Bums lead over your Wild Things here in Game 1 of this doubleheader. Game 2 still to come. We'll start about a half hour after we conclude this game here. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 men out. James Ball looking in. Checks first, has his sign, he's set. And the 1-2 pitch. That one's a called strike 3, and this ball game is over. Traverse City takes Game 1 of this doubleheader from your Washington Wild Things, 6-5. The winning pitcher is James Ball. Ball improves to 3-3 on the year. The losing pitcher, Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe falls to 2-2. Beach Bums take the first game from your Wild Things here in this doubleheader. Keep it tuned to the MSA Sports Network. We'll be right back with the Washington Wild Things postgame show. You're listening to Wild Things Baseball here on the MSA Sports Network.
AAA members enjoy 24/7 roadside assistance, exclusive member-only discounts, expert travel assistance, free identity theft protection, and much more. With that AAA card in your wallet or purse, you have the peace of mind, safety, and security that only AAA membership can provide. Already a member? Don't forget to renew. Not a member? Join AAA today at any nearby office or online at AAA.com. AAA, we're always with you.
We're back here on the MSA Sports Network. Final score for Game 1 of this doubleheader. The Traverse City Beach Bums take it from your Wild Things, 6-5. Winning pitcher James Ball improves to 3-3 on the year. The losing pitcher is Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe falls to 2-2 on the season. No save here in this one. Scoring recap for you. Early on, the Wild Things took the lead right away in the bottom half of the first. Andrew Heck flew out to start things. Chris Grayson would then pop out, and Ricky Rodriguez crushed the ball over the left field wall. A solo home run, his 7th home run of the year, and the Wild Things took the early 1-0 lead. Next batter, Dave Popkins would walk. Jimmy Yezo would walk as well to put runners at first and second with 2 men out. Alvaro Gonzalez would then pop out to end the inning. So after 1, it was 1-0 Washington Wild Things. Traverse City would take the lead in the top of the third as Marcus Dirks actually struck out to begin the inning. However, a pass ball by Steve Solkowski allowed Dirks to reach first base. There's a runner at first, nobody out. Then Casey Rodriguez and Jose Vargas would each strike out. For the first 2 outs of the inning, for Will Kendra came through with an RBI double. Dirks came around to score, and that tied the game at 1. Next batter, Steven Patterson. He would hit an RBI double of his own. Will Kendra would score, and Traverse City took a 2-1 lead. Elijah Trail would then walk, and Christian Santistaban grounded out to end the inning. So after 3, Traverse City had a 2-1 lead in this one. Wild Things would take the lead in the bottom half of the 5th. Chris Grayson popped out to start things. Then Ricky Rodriguez would single, Dave Popkins would walk, and Jimmy Yeza would single to load the bases. Alvaro Gonzalez would pop out for the second out of the inning before Grant Fink came through with a 2 RBI double. Rodriguez and Popkins would score, and the Wild Things would take a 3-2 lead. However, the Traverse City Beach Bums responding right away in the top of the 6th as Gabby Warby was hit by a pitch to start things. Then Jeff W. came through with an RBI triple. Warby would score, and that tied the game at 3. Next batter, Marcus Dirks, hit an RBI single, and that brought Jeff W. in, who hit that RBI triple, giving the Beach Bums a 4-3 lead. Then Casey Rodriguez would bunt his man to second. A fielder's choice by Jose Vargas got that man thrown out at third, and then that would be all for the reliever in that point, Colin Stanley. Stanley went 2/3, gave up 2 runs, both earned. Devin Davis came in and got the last out of the inning, getting Will Kendra to ground out. Then it was 4-3. Wild Things got back on the board in the bottom of that 6th inning. Austin Wolbrock grounded out to start things, then Andrew Heck flew out, and Chris Grayson came through with a solo home run. Grayson's 4th home run of the season. That tied the game at 4. Ricky Rodriguez would strike out to end the inning. Then we would go to extra innings here, as neither team scored in the 7th or 8th innings of this ball game. The next run came in the top of the 9th. Courtesy runner for the Traverse City Beach Bums was Stephen Patterson. He was out in second. Elijah Trail would single to put runners at first and third, nobody out. Then Giancarlo Bergoni pinch hitting for Christian Santisteban would strike out. Gabby Warby would then hit a sac fly. That brought Patterson home and gave the Beach Bums a 5-4 lead. Next batter, Jeff Debut, would strike out to end the inning. Wild Things responded in the bottom half of their 9th inning. Austin Wobrock was the courtesy runner, and then a bunt single by Andrew Heck put runners at first and third, nobody out, before Bach actually would bring in Austin Wobrock. That tied the game at 5. Chris Grayson would then walk to put runners at first and second with still nobody out before Ricky Rodriguez hit into a 6-4-3 double play. Then there'd be a runner at third, 2 outs before Dave Popkins would fly out to end the inning. Traverse City back on the board in the top of the 10th. Their courtesy runner Jeff Debut would come around to score right away on an RBI single by Marcus Dirks. That made the score 6-5, Traverse City. Then Casey Rodriguez would hit into a fielder's choice. Jose Vargas grounded out, and Will Kendra lined out to a diving Grant Fink to end the inning. Wild Things tried to respond in the bottom half of the 10th, but could not. Dave Popkins was the courtesy runner to start the inning. Jimmy Yeza would hit into a fielder's choice to get Popkins out at third, and Alvaro Gonzalez would strike out, and Grant Fink would strike out to end the game. Final score, Traverse City 6, your Washington Wild Things 5. Final lines in this one for the victorious Traverse City Beach Bums. They improved to 37-46. They had 6 runs on 13 hits, did not commit an error. Their winning pitcher was James Ball. Ball improves to 3-3. Ball went 2 innings. He had 1 run. It was unearned on 1 hit, walked 1, and struck out 2. For the Wild Things, they fall to 41-42. They had 5 runs on 9 hits and committed 1 error. Their losing pitcher, Brian O'Keefe. O'Keefe went an inning, gave him 1 run. It was unearned on just 1 hit. Did not walk a man and did not strike anybody out. Full slate of action around the Frontier League here tonight on this beautiful Tuesday night for baseball. Got a doubleheader here at Consol Energy Park. Game 2 coming at you in about a half hour or so prior to the conclusion of this Game 1. Other games going on in the league. We'll update you on the scores here in a minute. Final score here, Traverse City takes it from the Wild Things 6-5, but some couple games going on in Schaumburg, Illinois. The Schaumburg Boomers are losing to the Lake Erie Crushers 7-5, and that's in the bottom of the 5th. In the bottom of the 6th, the Evansville Otters are defeating the Normal Corn Belters 4-1 in Evansville. In the bottom of the 4th, Southern Illinois defeating Florence 5-1 in Southern Illinois. And in Joliet, the Slammers taking care of the Windy City Thunderbolts 3-1. That's what's going on around the league right now. But the final score here in this one, Traverse City 6, your Washington Wild Things 5. Winning pitcher James Ball 3-3. Losing pitcher Brian O'Keefe 2-2. Game 2 of this doubleheader coming up in just about a half hour. Taking the mound for the Wild Things in that one is the lefty Matt Snyder. Snyder 1-1 with a 6.94 ERA on the year. He will be opposed by Kramer Champlin. Champlin 4-6 with a 2.56 ERA on the year. But final score here in Game 1, Traverse City 6, your Washington Wild Things 5. So go get something to eat, go to the bathroom, and come right back as we're going to have some late night Washington Wild Things baseball for you. Game 2 of this doubleheader coming up. I'm Zach Ziegler saying I'll see you in about a half hour.
MSA Sports. Press 1 to resume or 3 to end broadcast. Your broadcast has been ended.